Good times lie ahead. With company worth keeping. To the back smile in your head. Come on in. Doors open your eyes. Pull up a chair. Drink. And all those doors you're in. Join the tavern. Yeah, you're always welcome. The tavern. Promising beer and bad blood. The tavern. Music, medicine, and sun. The tavern. The sounds over. Here we come.
And welcome to Talk of the Tavern, February 18th, 2019. I'm your host, Travis, and I'll be introducing all the beautiful people here. We're going to start with the most beautifulest, Zazzle. But after Zazzle, we also have Andrea. What do you got there today?
I have tea. That's it. It's Batman, though.
It's Batman.
That's his all.
And what about you, Ed? What do you got today, buddy?
Ginger ale.
Nice. So exotic.
Ginger.
It's not real ginger.
There's no real ginger in Canada Dry?
No,
No.
they just had a big lawsuit brought against them
Yeah, it's like
because their whole thing is ginger ale made with real ginger, and there's absolutely no real ginger in it at all.
Well, at least she's safe.
Well, speaking of gingers, Chris, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell them what you have for your vices tonight.
I have in my Talk of the Tavern glass my usual rum and Dr. Pepper.
I have Kraken and Coke in my Talk of the Tavern glass tonight. So, what about you, Elizabeth? What do you got?
It's upstairs right now, but I have coffee.
Yay!
What kind of coffee?
Black.
Yeah, it is.
My dad is strong, black. It's just a little bit of milk.
I see.
So you have Ed in your cup?
I got something for you, baby.
I bet you that clumps.
Oh.
Let me know tomorrow.
Come on right now. The best part of waking up is having Ed in your cup.
Or just cupping Ed.
Come on, Sassy.
It's either way. And for everybody... Yes, sir. Ed is happy. For everybody else who is joining us, let us know what your vices are tonight and what's going on. Our topic tonight, when we get to it, will be the meaning of life as we know it. So there we go. We are waiting on Kevin to join us, but he is busy wanking on a bus. That's
Because it's
how
like 5 a.m. there, you know.
It's Thursday. So...
It's Thursday, 5 a.m., yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
What?
You know, you left like a playground for the cats back
I know,
there.
I
Okay.
just painted my nails. I can't
Okay.
touch it. Don't touch me.
That's what you do if they go towards it. Just. So, anybody have anything exciting happen in the past 2 weeks that they'd like to talk about?
I saw Bob.
You did.
Yeah,
So there's been a Bob sighting.
there was a Bob Saturday. Yeah, he came by and had supper with us. He and Annie came by and had supper with us on Saturday.
Nice.
We did our monthly smoke.
Is Annie okay?
Your monthly smoke? Is that what you said?
Yeah, once a month we smoke a smorgasbord of meats. And then
Oh, that kind of smoke.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Pipe, cigars, or smoke.
Not too good smoke.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah, we had ribs and beef and pork wine. Yeah, so
Sounds beautiful. Sounds beautiful. So how is Bob looking?
he's looking good. He's losing some weight.
Is he?
Is he still black?
Yeah. He's still my brother. Oh, it was funny. We were messaging back and forth, trying to plan this and schedule and everything. And he sends me, I send him a fist bump, and he sends me one back. His is darker than mine.
Gary, thank you so much.
Hey, Gary.
Gary just resubscribed for the 4th month in a row. And he says, I thought you said Bono was going to ask what color glasses he was wearing now. We have no idea. But Andrea did have some interesting current event news in the music side? Really? You don't even remember? Mick Jagger?
Oh, yeah, Mick Jagger.
She was all thrilled to tell everybody all about
I'm
this.
just like, okay, Mick Jagger, 75. Rolling Stones, for all those that don't know. I was reading an article, and he is getting ready to settle down with a woman from Williamsburg, which is near here. She's from the ballet company, and she's in her 30s. That's all.
So he hooked a woman who is more years separate the two of them than Chris has been alive. Oh, Ed, thank you, man. That's a 12-month streak for you.
I'm just like, how did she meet? Where did they meet? I've got questions.
That's actually a fair point. I would.
Because he's Mick Jagger and she's a ballerina. How did this happen, people?
He likes ballet.
Does he?
I don't know.
Well, he does now.
He likes flexible women.
But how would they meet? That's what I'm just wondering.
In a dark alley?
Could be. Inquiring minds want to know.
Which one would be the scared one? Which one would be the excited one? There's no telling. Hold on, I'm being entertained here.
What's on your shirt? Is it Pickly
it's,
Rick?
it's Pickled Rick, yeah. Or, yeah.
I don't know. Oh my god, just stop moving.
I don't know, whatever it is, it's giving me vertigo.
She.
Sorry.
It's okay. Did you say Hertigo? Oh, hold on.
No.
Gotta switch it out. Oh, she's back. Okay.
There she is.
And then in a minute we will get Kevin in here also.
Maybe.
Okay, so
Do we have an opening toast?
we
Before
do
I finish my
have an opening toast. Here's to being old enough and wise enough to know the meaning of life, but young enough to still fucking put it to use and enjoy it.
Here,
42.
Yeah.
Ed finished his drink.
Finish my ginger ale, so.
Andrew's like, can we have an opening toast before she finishes her? My mic is maxing out. I'm watching it peak here.
How does it sound, everybody? All of our listeners.
I mean, you're a little loud.
Yeah, he's louder than the rest of us. Chris, you're quieter.
I mean, I can also move my mic back towards my face zone.
What a concept.
Put it to your face.
That's what he said.
Don't eat that.
There we go. That should balance out the volume between all of us. Thanks for testing it. Appreciate that.
Test, testicles.
Yeah.
Next time I do a sound check, that's what I'm going to use. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2, testicles.
Testes. Testes.
That's right. 1, 2, 3. See a doctor. Mm-hmm.
I saw another article, and it pertains to Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for it to.
Our internet has been horrible the past week. I wasn't even sure we were going to be able to stream and be on Discord at the same time tonight.
Well,
it's
the
just
weather's
been bad.
Okay. Study says U.S. Twitch streamers raked in roughly $87 million in 2017.
2017,
Really?
okay. So it'd be...
Well, because they're
right.
claiming, yeah,
Right.
this time, so. Wait, what year is this? Oh, it's 19. I don't know. That's the headline.
There we go. So Gary is saying another Southerner, Jerry Hall, wore and wrung him out. Isn't that quite...
Yeah, he was married, wasn't he?
Yeah, south of it. One more state, actually. Wait, it is. Okay.
Is
So
he
you,
still married?
the only way I know Jerry Hall's name is from the Michael Keaton Batman. He was, or she was Jack Nicholson's girlfriend, the model he, like, threw acid on and remade. That's the only time I've ever heard of her.
How did she meet Mick Jagger? I know how Craig Ferguson met Mick Jagger. We need to bring him on so he can talk about that.
Heard that story. So did anybody have past 2 weeks? Anything go on? What about you, Elizabeth? You look like you've lost weight.
Well, thank you. I went on the teacher diet, which is basically get infected with a serious virus. You basically don't move for 11 days. Feel like hell. Can barely eat. I was like a chest cold, but I never really had a bad fever. But I had to sleep upright in a lazy boy chair 2 nights in a row. It was horrendous. In the middle of it, I just had to write, and I wrote a quarter of my film, the stage I'm in right now, and just survived. And I was so sick that acne broke out of my face, and I thought I had measles. I had over 40 pimples on my face.
There have been measles outbreaks and mumps outbreaks recently because of anti-vaxxers. It's starting to have outbreaks across the U.S.
Okay, I don't know about that. I just was sick.
I'm just saying, it could have been.
I am now immortal. I beat the superbug.
There you go.
I was very proud of myself for in the middle of it writing because, God, I just couldn't focus. I was dizzy. It was a bad one. So wash your hands, don't share if you're be careful out there. And the bad thing is when you're sick, you look like hell, you feel like hell, but you lose weight. So, which the moment I start eating again will come back, but it was fun.
Well, you got food there. So you got salmon and roasted vegetables, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Look like zucchini and...
to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
A friend showed me how to do this. I basically take green onions, and then you put, olive oil, whatever, salt, pepper. But then you bake them at 350, bake. But then I bake them longer so the ends get really crisp. It's like a little French fry almost, but it's onion. And the meaty part is still somewhat soft. But the end gets really crisp. Fantastic.
Nice. Now, what about you, Chris? What's gone on in the past 2 weeks in your life, man?
Not a whole lot. We had so today's a federal holiday and the theater is supposed to be closed, but we had a fun 2.5 hour long production meeting, so that was great. Most of my time has been, trying to find projectors for our next show, and they're not cheap to rent.
How much are there?
One projector so depending on the lumen output, and I want something over 10,000 lumens, like a 10,000 lumen projector is $1,200 a day.
Holy crap.
And I need it for 6 weeks.
Oh.
Nope.
Yeah.
Just buy one.
How much is it to buy one?
28 plus 4, so like $32,000.
Might be cheaper to buy it.
It'd be really close, wouldn't it? It's
yes.
Because you had...
And then we could rent ours out.
Yeah.
Problem is we need 2.
6 weeks.
So, for what we need for the show. Well, technically we need 3, but I'm borrowing one from another theater.
Yeah, that's
so.
money.
Yeah.
Very.
It's been fun trying to figure out where these projectors are coming from.
Out your butt.
So after this one, I started working on, because they want LED strip, like, the little LED tape in the set, and it's just under 300 feet of LED tape, which we have 30 feet of. So I had to spend a lot of time doing how much is it going to, essentially doing a cost out, and then all of the various variations of, well, if we do it this much and don't put it here on the set, it'll cost this much, but it's like $1,500 in LED tape that we need for the next show.
Is that Kevin? That's Kevin.
Yeah, that's Kevin.
I'm going to pull this up so I can...
What he say? Kevin will be with us in a minute, guys. He also says, Chris, can you not just hold up a slide in front of the shining light of Travis's brilliance? I don't know what... I don't get it. What'd I miss?
Instead of having a projector, just hold up.
Oh. Yeah, well,
Sorry.
you're going to be sadly disappointed when it comes to Travis and Brilliance.
I'm not.
Other than that, I had fun making my D&D character for our new campaign
Oh,
on
thank you,
Thursday,
Ed.
which I'm super excited for.
Oh, yeah, I guess I should announce that. That's something we have coming up. Starting Thursday night. And Ed, again, I don't know if you heard me, but thank you very much, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's... it looks like... sidetracking myself from the D&D game. It's at one point in time, to get money from Twitch, you have to make over $100 a month. Otherwise, it builds up to $100, and you get it 45 days after the end of the month, where it went over $100. And at one point in time, we were very much easily making that every month, or significantly more. And we haven't for many months. And I'm happy to say it looks like we're back on track to start doing that again. So I'm happy about that. It allows us to get the liquor. And who doesn't like the liquor?
I love the liquor, man.
I don't even know her.
It's probably best. It doesn't matter if you know her if she has doctor's papers with her clearing it. Anyhow. Elizabeth has frozen like that right now.
Oh, and it just froze on here. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, there she goes. Okay, that's much better. Anyhow, the D&D game on Thursday night, we're going to start doing a live D&D game. Gary says, bringing show downstairs to work out. Yeah, baby. We'll bring you on, too. You could be the sex appeal.
There's no emotes for
We
bid.
need it.
They're hearts.
Their hearts?
Yeah, they're hearts. See, look, there's little hearts.
Well, there's all those.
Yeah, but there's never been hearts before.
Oh, it's Valentine's, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that one's throwing up.
Blech. The one for 10,000 is vomiting.
Yeah.
It's vomiting the love. Love vomit.
Yeah.
That happens after a bukkake thing, too, right? Love vomit. Anyhow. Yeah, Thursday night, join us 8 o'clock. D&D. We have Chris, Andrea, Robert Turk, who used to be a co-host. John Millington, who may or may not be watching any second now.
Aaron.
And Aaron. That's everybody, right? Chris, that's everybody?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
It'll be a good time anyway it goes.
I can actually play this week, I think. I'm off work. Yeah.
In the meantime, I do want to thank everybody for all the support. No sound?
Yeah, shit.
Oh, I heard a doodaloo and it must have muted.
No.
What just happened?
No, it's still registering.
Can you hear us now?
Blankety blank.
Can you hear
This
us?
is the sign, so he must know.
Okay, stop.
Can you hear us now?
Oh, we got
We're still got sound here.
Okay, stop. Hang in there.
I think it was just Discord.
So you guys weren't hearing us because of Discord.
There it is.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Can you hear me?
We just gonna have to talk about the movie.
Down again.
Hey guys.
Guys, can you hear me?
There you are.
Yes.
Okay. Give me a second. Let me check connections and what. Okay. Hear me? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if that works out. Okay, so what I was saying is thanks for supporting via Patreon. It's the second best way to support. The first best way is hit the tip button below. And bits, subscribing, you could do that for free. And other than that, there's buying merchandise, joining us on Discord, the newsletter, etc., sharing, showing up. So. Okay, Kev, thank you. It's like I said, we've had some really bad internet the past 5 to 8 days, so I don't know. Okay, Kevin, once you're in, we can intro you and get on with the topic. I think we're going to go ahead and just jump into the topic now, unless somebody else has something they want to talk about from the past 2 weeks.
Oh, that's me. I'm like, no comment, that's me.
Anybody? No? Okay. So, this week I wanted to discuss the meaning of life, which, I think it's a good... Oh, wait, 60 seconds. Is that all he's going to take? So we're waiting on him to finish.
It's twice as long as before.
That's right. It's not a bad thing for her to complain about. It's worse than the other ways. Hey, that's right. Lady Skipper, thank you for the follow. I did want to say a quick hello to Jamin and Jewel. Thank you for joining us. Good to see you guys. Getting the postcards, reading them off on air and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, happy to see you. So, what is that icon all about? FFZ supporter. I don't even know what the hell that means. But apparently Stream Elements is.
What does that mean?
I don't know. But we're going to wait for Kevin now.
Okay.
Coming through in ways better now. Thank you, Jewel. I think it was just a loose connection somewhere along the way as I was... Whether it's the internet or the wire wasn't plugged in. Oh, there's a Kevin. Let's flip screens here. Oh.
I love the fact that I get a chant of wanker as I appear. That's wonderful.
We'll get it in harmony eventually here.
Sorry, I would have been on screen earlier rather than pestering you in the chat box, but I was getting changed from work and me naked on camera. I'm pretty sure violates all kinds of, well, just society's rules, let alone Twitch's.
We got that picture. You shared it last time.
Oh, that wasn't a picture of me naked. That was my chicken plucked and stuffed ready for the oven.
Oh.
No, you with
I can see where you made the mistake.
It was you with your snake.
Oh, that naked photo.
Yeah, after she got loose, yeah.
I promise you that none of you will ever see it, but there is one image in existence somewhere of me naked with my modesty covered with a 14-foot python.
Oh my.
Mm.
Sounds like a drinking challenge.
It was a challenge. It was a challenge thrown out to me by a private group that I won't mention the name of on Facebook, which is snake owners who post pictures of themselves in various states of undress with their pets.
Of course.
You'd be surprised. Of course, such a group exists.
All men or women or men?
No, actually, to be honest, surprisingly, the majority of posters are women.
They like the feel of hundreds of pounds of meat between their legs.
Indeed, and let's face it, you're only going to get that from a snake. I'm feeling the love tonight, by the way. I've not eaten all day, so I'm having a nutritious meal whilst I join you guys this evening. As usual, large mug full of exceptionally strong black coffee, hand-rolled drum tobacco, and tonight's mystery star guest.
Oh.
Living the high life.
I had some of those today.
They're a rare treat. We don't have one on the island, but my wife's been to the gun wharf with the kids shopping today. So they get clothes and shoes and all kinds of other expensive gifts. They get the leftover donuts.
Is it just glazed or is it mixed? I mean, a variety? What are we talking here?
Okay. Let's see. It's a great unveil for me as well. I have
It's the unboxing of donuts.
one here.
Oh my god, how did they make that in a butt shape?
And then I have one of these. And then this one, quite frankly, I'm not sure whether this is making me hungry or scared, but...
I don't even know about that one.
No. I'm looking forward to devouring it first.
Eat his face
to
off.
stop it from staring at me.
That's horrible.
Oh, it's delicious.
Dumplings for dinner.
Ooh.
Fried dumplings for dinner.
Oh, nice.
And over
What
to
kind?
Kura, Japan, which is like a take out teriyaki, like chicken teriyaki and rice, like little bento boxes. It's great, but it was one of those things where like I go in and really all I want is dumplings, and then I order like a regular meal with it because I, can't just be the guy walking out with 3 orders of dumplings. But that's what I did tonight because I'm one of those.
I'm that guy.
I love dumplings. It's one of my go-to. Always in my freezer. There's always dumpling paper in my freezer. Yeah. It's a great way to use that leftover.
Here. That was one of my favorites in New York. You could get those little momos from Nepal and stew. Oh.
I'm a little.
What kind of dumplings did you get, Kurt?
They were just like the. I mean, I guess technically they'd be the like gyoza, the Japanese style fried donut.
Pork, chicken?
Yeah, I guess they're pork and veggie.
I'm just worried about the leftovers. I've seen Kevin's fridge.
My fridge is quite large.
Well, it's got like a dead chicken and rabbit or whatever he feeds those snakes.
Oh yeah, in the bottom shelf, yeah. You gotta be wary of the dumplings in my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know when a snake's turned its nose up at a rat.
Oh.
Easy to prep a rat. Blowtorch will fur off, takes seconds.
Oh God.
They're not.
Well, just like, kill them first.
I would assume that kind of might. It's the screaming you can't stand.
No, it's the waste of butane trying to chase them down.
Oh my God.
It's like babysitting.
You get paid for babysitting.
Yeah, but it's a waste of butane trying to chase them down.
But you still get paid, so $20 is $20.
There we go. That's what I needed.
Duct tape them to the wall. You'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. You get it all straight? It looks fine.
No.
Still get
There's
too hot in there.
Because I'm seeing it on the Twitch app. Oh. Neat.
There you go.
Just reading the comments in case I'd missed anything. The lady skipper's comment where she said you were coming through in waves. Am I the only person hearing "Wish You Were Here" in my head?
Not anymore.
And I second what you said earlier, by the way. Thank you very much indeed for the postcards. I love those. Little moments of joy in my life.
Jewel, you have rat sickles in your freezer for a friend? For their snake?
What kind of friends do you bring over?
Nice.
Hey, there's Des.
I really wish I had a large freezer. I've got a really big fridge, but only a very small freezer. And it's quite annoying because it means that I have to go and buy every time I want to feed the big guys because I don't have the storage room to keep multiple rabbits on ice.
With that, let's move on to the meaning of life.
On that note.
That's a good segue, right? Let's go and do that. Kevin, did you have anything else to talk about that went on in your life in the past 2 weeks? That's interesting and fun.
2 weeks. I've done nothing. It's been fantastic.
Wasn't that the last
2 weeks of my year.
Like, didn't you just have...
Yeah, I've been back for a week.
Cool. So, Ed, you look very intelligent and contemplative, and what do you think the meaning of life is?
Life has no fucking meaning. We're just here. Floating through time for something's amusement. I'm not sure what.
What about you, Kev?
What do I think the meaning of life is? Wow. I think it's always going to be a subjective question because everybody has different values that are important to them. So, you can't have a universal meaning of life because it'll lack meaning for at least one segment of society. I think you can probably conjecture a universal set of rules about what people want from life, but the meaning of life is different for everyone, surely.
Andrew, you got some thoughts?
Right now, I need like noodle and dumplings.
That's
That's
your meaning of life right now?
right now this week.
Okay. Chris, you just had dumplings. Do you want to tell us about the meaning of life?
Dumplings. Definitely dumplings, the meaning of life.
Yeah, that's what I need.
They were glorious.
Now,
I
Elizabeth,
want more dumplings.
Elizabeth, you were muted. That's why I saved you for last. Are you ready to talk about something?
I'm sorry, I was finishing my dinner.
No, absolutely. I didn't want to interrupt. It's so I figured I'd go around and hit you up last. So, what do you think, meaning of life?
Sure. And that's a good question, and I believe that I think that's the essence of humanity is discovering meaning in your own life and purpose, or instead. And I wasn't sure where to go from there. I know where I am right now in my meaning of life, and so I turned to my own books and research, and I found something immediately Einstein said, and I'd like to read it, quote it if I may. In a mind much greater, in words more capable than mine. Einstein wrote in one of his many writings, he said, okay, well, what is the meaning of human life, or for that matter, of the life of any creature? To know an answer to this question means to be religious. You ask, does it make any sense then to pose this question? I answer, the man who regards his own life and that of his fellow creature as meaningless is not merely unhappy, but hardly fit for life. And to expand upon that, I think much of life, and I want to go around, I don't want to just hog up the whole spotlight, but it tends to start with something spiritual or essential in human existence beyond that is self.
Okay. The meaning of life is something I've looked for a long time. And I remember back in my teens, I watched a little movie with Billy Crystal and Jack Palance called City Slickers. And Billy Crystal is going through a midlife crisis, and in the movie he goes to a dude ranch and spends a week there or whatever. And he's having a fit, unhappy at home and his job, etc. And towards the climax of the movie, he's yelling at Jack Palance, it's what is the meaning of life? And Jack says, this. And Billy says, your finger? He says, no, one thing. And Billy's like, yeah, what is that one thing? And Jack says, that's up to you to decide. And I think that little clip right there in my head summarizes it very well. In my opinion, the meaning of life is what you make it. I think a lot of us, as we hit a certain age, our life shifts. This is your midlife crisis. People who are married and had kids, or kids are tending to leave the house, they're repurposing their life and deciding how to go forward. Whereas others that maybe never had kids, they're hitting a point in their life where they've done all the young stuff, and now they're looking at the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, I've done some young stuff.
Well, that's the meaning of a new life.
Well, I think there's a difference between the meaning of life and your purpose in life.
Okay.
My purpose right now, I think, is to experience the different things in life. From, childhood to adulthood to death to, all that and everything in between. That's purpose for me. But meaning, I don't know.
Well, what gives your life meaning? Let's look at it that way, guys. What gives your life meaning, Ed?
Same point stare.
What do you strive for every morning when you wake up? What makes you get out of bed?
Surviving.
Okay. And just surviving is enough?
At this point, yeah.
Okay. There's no wrong answer here for anyone. Just
I go tonight. I'll be a happy man.
I think that's very important. I think that shows a life well lived. Unless if you're the one out back with a gun to your head and you're like, I go tonight, I'll be happy because I won't be here tomorrow. Then perhaps there's some shit you should work on
Oh yeah. Nothing like that.
It's So what about you, Chris? What gives your life meaning and purpose? What gets you out of bed that makes you go, yeah, another day of life? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that is the question right now. And most mornings I'm not really sure why I'm getting up. So we're still searching.
Kevin?
What gives my life meaning? I like the thought that in any given day, I've spent just 30 seconds somewhere where I've said something, done something, or not said or done something even, that has improved the quality of someone else's life in that moment. I'm happy. Which is vast. I mean, it's interesting what Amber was saying earlier about there's a difference between your purpose in life and the meaning of life.
Uh-huh.
So obviously your purpose is what you perceive to be your particular goal. Why am I personally here? What's my life, my contribution to the grand scheme of things? The meaning of life is why are all of us? Why we even bothered evolving in the first place from crawling in mud or whatever? So they're two very different things. I think really the meaning of life is anything that validates what you think your purpose is. If you think your purpose is to be a badass and someone says to you, hey man, you must be badass, that's validation, that's your meaning. Does that make sense? That's a very simplified version, but I'm trying not to overcomplicate it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, it's very similar to what the Dalai Lama said.
I don't think badass and Travis has ever been used in the same sentence.
What does the
But
Dalai Lama say?
Well, funny you should ask. I have it right here.
at least you admit to reading it off Wikipedia.
Of course. I
Go on.
We are visitors on this planet. We are here for 90 or 100 years at the very most. During that period, we must try to do something good, something useful with our lives. You contribute to other people's happiness. You will find the true goal, the true meaning of life. That's why I think it's a fantastic segue. I believe that's what Kevin was saying.
Pretty much, yeah. You don't even have to do anything. It's great. I can make someone's day by not being a prick.
You can. Absolutely.
I can think in my head, you know what? Right now I could have torn you to shreds, but I haven't. So I'm going to sleep well tonight, knowing that even though you don't know it, I've done something good today by not fucking up your day.
Well, I deserve a reward. I should be acknowledged for my contribution. I guess, some days that could quite possibly be.
Society is quite safe at the moment. Some friends of mine have introduced me to a wonderful new outlet for my sarcasm and bitterness. So I'm generating far less of it in the direction of the general public at the moment.
Here's a question now. What if you have a purpose in life, but you don't like it? Like, what if you've been given a role? Like, for example, I happen to be I excel at teaching. I'm a fantastic instructor. It's been a common thread. People always want to hire me. But it doesn't fulfill me fully. I don't wake up in the morning like, oh, I'm going to go teach. It's like, oh.
Maybe it's not your true purpose.
Maybe.
It might have been a path. It might have been a means to an end. You might even be exceptionally gifted. And John just commented, get a new life. And that's exactly, I think, what we're all heading to saying is, you get to choose. Oh, I'm sorry, Andrew.
Maybe that is not your purpose, but being a teacher is going to fund your purpose in life.
I thank you, and you're an adorable friend. I love you, and I'm pleased with where I am. But the question remains, can you have a purpose in life, and what is it fulfilling?
I think a purpose is a
What if
choice.
Your purpose is to be an assassin. What if you're the most, you need to be out there killing horrible people.
Fuck, I missed my calling. Ed, what are you doing this weekend?
Why do they have to be horrible?
Why do they have to be horrible?
Just saying.
They can be mildly annoying. That's okay, too.
What if your purpose in life is to serve as a warning to others?
Could be.
Oh my god, I think enough people have that purpose in life. We can get some other shit now.
I crossed that one off the list by the time I was 22.
It's,
Just throw it out there.
I think
there's a lot of randomization as well from being in the moment, isn't there? I mean, you said, just thinking back then when I said 22, you'd ask me at 22, what's the meaning of life? I mean, to bone everything that moves and get wasted. Where's the next drink and or woman? Preferably a woman carrying a drink. But these days, my priorities, I'll stop and I'll think about it more. So it's not just subjective in terms of what you personally want from life. It's where you're at within that life at that given moment.
Right, because there's some things you can't do till you experience other things, no matter how much you read or listen or whatever. By the way, let me read Jules' comment here. What gets me out of the bed besides work is the quest for the next best pun. You know what? Comedy and laughter, that is well worth getting out of bed for.
I saw a Mexican prisoner escape yesterday by sailing down a wall. I thought that's a little condescending. I'll let it go.
I'll drink to that.
So, Kevin, what were you saying before I interrupted with a comment there?
What was I going to say? Something to do with what Elizabeth just said.
I mean, I can prattle on something.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So you asked the question, what if you've got purpose in life, but that purpose doesn't fulfill you? I think it's perfectly capable that you can have more than one purpose, and that some are a better fit for you than others. And at the end of the day, you need to strike a happy medium between your potential for creating your purpose into the world and your happiness with doing so. I'm a great cook. Always have been. I learned from my mum at a very early age. I've done it professionally as a career for the best part of 20 years. I'm not cooking now. I'm doing something different. Now, you could argue, based on what you said before, that given I've got a natural talent for it and people enjoy my food, I should be cooking for people and doing that in order to produce joy in other people's lives, which is something I've said I want. But I'm finding more fulfillment in the job that I'm doing now, even though maybe I have less natural talent. So I'm capable of doing more than one thing, and some of those things bring me more joy than others. So I think you if you're ever going to be content, you need to strike a happy balance between knowing you're putting something out there and being happy to do so.
And your purpose can change different points of your life, too.
Yeah.
Or even different parts of the day.
Yeah.
That would be the having more than one purpose. It's and by the way, Chris, going back to what you had said, don't feel alone or anything like that with the "I don't know" answer, because I think we all face that every couple of years where we have to ship. Go ahead, Ed.
It's at 25. Kevin was talking about 22. At 25, if you had asked me what was the meaning of life, I would have felt the need to come up with some grand philosophical answer. At 54, you ask me what's the meaning of life? I don't know. I don't give a fuck. I'm just living.
But you're enjoying life, aren't you, Ed?
Yeah.
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 It's you know, and I think that really is the bottom line. I don't believe we're here to suffer. I do believe we're here to experience things, and by suffering, you appreciate the things you have much more. So suffering has a value.
Well, in the past couple of years, my purpose has changed. I mean, for a long time, it was to raise a child and help him to become a productive member of society. Well, he's grown, he's out of the house. My purpose with that is done. So,
Which that's my reason for coming up with this show. It's my son turned 16 last Sunday, a week ago Sunday, and he was supposed to come here for his birthday. And I said, "Do you want to stay at your mother's? Because that's where all your friends are, and you know she has a easier time getting out and doing things than I do." And he went, "Yeah." I went, "Great. Can you call me on your birthday so I can wish you a happy birthday?" And he's like, "Yeah." Well, on his birthday, I messaged him, "Happy birthday," and he's like, "Oh, thanks." I'm like, "Hey, do what makes you happy today." Or he says, like, "I'll call you later." And I'm like, "Well, do what makes you happy. Don't worry about anything else. Just enjoy your day." So he never fucking called me. This hurt. Like, emotionally fucking hurt me. I'm like, so just talking to me does not bring joy to this kid. It's, because that's 16. And, well, just some human beings their whole damn life. You know. Go ahead, Kev.
Surely aren't you projecting your meaning of life onto his purpose?
I don't think he has a purpose yet, but what are you talking about?
I'm triggered. Did you just assume his purpose?
No, I assumed a lack of purpose.
He doesn't even have a fully formed brain. It's not done yet.
You talking about me
now? This is 2-year-old.
Your brain is so developed, Kevin, it's like eating the hair and pushing outward.
It's 80% logic, 20% donut.
Yeah, I called you all week. It broke my heart you weren't on the air last week. I was sick as a dog. Eat it. Eat the eyes. Start with the eyes.
Licks the eyes off.
I am Mr. Donut.
Oh, it's great. It looks like his head on
It does.
his body.
It is very much Kevin's head. But, so...
Eat your head, Kev. Eat your head.
It's pink and hairless, just like 40% of my head.
Both of them.
Oh.
But anyhow, so you hit these points in life where you have to reevaluate, and I can't just make Aiden my purpose in life. I have to find other things. It's like a penis. It's got an eye at the end.
Oh, God. Ew. Stop.
It's staring to my soul. The carpet's gone.
I think actively acknowledgingly searching for meaning in your life will eventually bring you moments of happiness, or at least activity involved in your life, positiveness, the curiosity, the deliciousness deserved of life. And that's kind of what I do when I teach. I try to encourage that in people, because for me, much of life is finding the beauty of love in things, and a lot of times that comes with humor, and sharing that. In fact, the mission statement, if I may be so bold, as Pyramid Productions, is kindling a light in the mere darkness of being. And I think surviving sometimes is pretty dark, when I can throw bits of light out there for people to grab onto. That's what gets me out of bed. That's what keeps me going. And my darkest days in New York, I would just have a moment where I just say, okay, how many people can I make laugh on the way home? And that's what I would do.
Keep in mind, if you punch an asshole in the face, that makes 10 other people laugh.
Entertain the masses.
You do get applause sometimes.
You do, and you get on YouTube, which then gets thousands of people happy.
If you show them the tits, you're going to get a lot more.
Just punch the asshole, show the tits. Mission accomplished.
Look at me.
Is that what we're doing when we go to New Orleans?
You never know. We're going to New Orleans.
Save yourself a vast amount of time. Just walk around punching people topless.
Wait, when you're topless, punch people, or punch people so hard their top flies off?
Either or.
Why do with these? Punch them.
Ed, what are you drinking now, sir?
Old Rock ginger cider.
Does it have real ginger in it?
Mm-hmm.
And Marianne.
Uh-huh.
Gary says it can also be construed as fisting.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Visually and sensationally, the two activities are very different. It's
That would be a great headline. Women fisting in public.
fisting strangers on trains.
Women fisting each other.
Oh, God.
Woman fist mans with no shirt on.
You just imagine kind of closing time when you're stereotypical British boozer. I tell you, son, you better shut your fucking mouth or I swear I'm going to fist you.
If you ever watched The Internship with Vince Vaughn and one of the Wilson brothers, there's a little nerdy guy. He's like, come on. And he wants to fist bump. And he's like, come on, fist me. Come on, just pound me hard. It's only like a 30-second scene, but it's fucking wonderful. It's probably one of Vince Vaughn's better movies, really.
I remember moments of that film. It was quite humorous. And they found the meaning in those two, in that they were selling their ideas and finding creative ways out of them. I think that's how they ended up getting the internship.
Right.
Which was fun writing, I thought. Yeah.
It's there are definitely flaws with the movie, but yeah, all in all,
was it the video game place?
If they go to Google.
Oh, it was
They
Google,
get an
and the guy was
internship.
playing the video game. Got it.
Right.
I remember.
Yeah, I have it over there, and it's a good movie. Even Aiden enjoyed it. It's okay. What do we got? It's 10 minutes till the hour. In about 5 minutes, the rest of us will take a break. But if somebody needs a break now, it's 10 minutes till. Okay, we'll see you in a couple minutes, Elizabeth.
Okay.
It's oh, okay. Let's make sure. No, that's good. It's holding in place. You're okay, Elizabeth. You can do that. However you want to do it. But you're muted. Okay, there.
Ha.
Okay.
I just taught my heart out.
Oh, nice. She's back. She can't decide what she's doing. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Hey, she's cooler than most. So.
Are you the lame planeteer?
He
Ah,
wants to fist my heart.
you're supposed to put your heart on your sleeve.
Oh, I was going wrong somewhere.
Well, Fabian, I'll tell you this. We just went over it for the past half hour, but it basically boils down to that's your choice. And everybody has different meanings at different points in their life. So that's the summarization. We also discussed the difference between a purpose to life and a meaning of life. And how a meaning is often religious-based. So, doing okay. Doing okay. How are you, Fabian? Good to see you. It's been a while. I think you did a name change, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Weren't you a Cool Hand before? Am I thinking of the right person or not? I think I am. It's
Out of curiosity, has anyone, I know a couple of people have mentioned it, has anyone gone over the story about 42 yet? Because
No.
you always say, don't you, what's the meaning of life? And someone will always answer 42.
Which it's not.
It's
That's the answer to the life universe and everything. It's not the meaning of life. So
not the meaning of life.
yeah, please separate
You know
those
the-
two. But
Do
go
you
ahead.
know why it's that number?
Yes.
Jackie Robinson's The Meaning of Life?
What?
I'm assuming that's a sports reference.
Yeah.
Straight over my poor ass head. Douglas Adams, who wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series, was a massive computer tech nerd. He loved old-fashioned.
Really?
Yeah. You know where I'm going with this, don't you?
I do. I know the answer.
And
Yes.
okay, hopefully you can tell me if I'm right. Is it ASCII it's in? I can't remember which other language
I think
is.
so, yeah. That would make sense.
There are numeric designations in this language for symbols. And 42 is the numeric designation for the asterisk. And the asterisk is used in that programming language to determine an unspecified value, basically whatever you want it to be. So 42 is the meaning of life, the universe, and everything. It's the meaning of life, the universe, and everything is whatever you want it to be.
Considering how old he was when he wrote that book, that's really well thought out for him.
Yeah.
How
Sorry,
old
I just
was
wanted that small bit of inner crushing nerd has been dying to get out of me since the start of the show.
It's
I just re-listened to the audiobook in the car, and I went on. So, oh fuck, what's his face? Who narrates the book? Also, was the narrator in the like movie version.
Oh, okay, right.
And I Fry.
I can't remember who played the narrator in the movie.
Fry?
Someone Fry.
Stephen Fry?
Oh, what, you Stephen Fry?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Not
So
Cameron
I
Fry.
narrated the book, and it was great. And then apparently, at least the copies that I have, they changed the narrator to what's his face, who played Arthur and is Sherlock's companion. What is his name?
Oh, Watson.
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman, yeah.
And he reads Restaurant at the End of the Universe through the rest of them, and it's
Right.
it's not the same as Stephen Fry. Like, it's just not as good, and I can't do it. He doesn't do the voices as well, and like it makes me sad.
If you take a little bit of everything that is quintessentially British and put it in a pot and boil it and reduce it down, you get Stephen Fry.
It is 5 minutes till. If anybody else needs to pop off and refill their drink, or
Do you need anything?
I'm debating if I need to refill that now. Probably
I
I
was gonna
do.
say I can get it for you.
Yeah, if you would, that'd be great.
What do you want?
For another hour.
Just top
Soda?
it off with Coke, yeah. It's you okay there? You need a push?
No, just
Oh, okay.
the link.
You want to see what he put?
Real good.
I'll show you. Show you what Gary put. Oh, interesting.
Oh,
Mr. Cool Ice.
oh, that's not weird at all.
He's got all kinds of the word ice all over him. Huh. I don't know what his deal is. Interesting. I don't think it's the same person, though, Gary. Fabian has been popping in and out of Talk of the Tavern for quite a while. I guess it was since shortly after you joined Twitch in 2017, wasn't it?
I've got to say that's a beautiful link work.
It's good work. You kind of go, why? But it's his choice, like the meaning of life.
You should click on that link if you ever want to know what the definition difference is between a tattooist and a scratcher.
It's kitty. So let's see here. It's Gary says, "Don't think so." Not sure what that means. I don't know what you don't think so. Thank you. Don't forget your tea. You got to get your tea. So while we're waiting for This Week in History, sir, I have this past week I saw an article about TikTok, a new app that's out. Do we all remember Vine? They were 7-second videos or something. Well, this one is 15-second videos, except quite often you end up lip syncing to a movie clip or a song clip or whatever. And you can add effects to it, etc. Oh, gotcha, Gary. So I did this and I joined it, and I have been horribly amused by these people's videos. For some reason, I've gravitated to following cops. Probably because I love the fact that here's these law enforcement people that deal with horrible things doing donut videos. You know, where there's like you hear a little baby's voice going, "I want a donut," and then a man's voice going, "You want a what?" "Donut." "Bacon?" "No, donut." And you've got these full-grown cops in their riot gear lip-syncing as the child to "I want a donut."
I've got to admit, that's not what I first thought. I had like an image in my head of them, spinning the police cruisers around in abandoned parking lots. Yeah.
There's probably one out there.
Was it like Kentucky, who lip syncs Taylor Swift songs in his patrol car?
I know the one you're talking about. There's two cops who are obviously partners. They took the song "You've Got a Friend in Me," and it showed them on a little kid's playground, like pushing each other on the swings, helping them up the monkey bars, pushing them on the little zip line thing that's, not really a zip line, it's metal poles. And I'm like, I just really appreciate these cops, as opposed to the, sure, the 19-year-old chick with her titties hanging out is always nice, but they're all the same when they're just singing along to those 12 seconds of whatever song. It's but yeah, it's been a nice distraction. Now, let's go into This Week in History. Here it comes. Hey Ed, what happened this week in history?
This week in history, shit happened, y'all. Since I haven't been here for like 3 fucking weeks, I got 3 fucking weeks of history here.
This will keep us busy for the hour, that's for sure. You want to start with birthdays in case there's somebody you know, that so you don't miss out on that?
Oh no.
Okay.
I just did, yeah.
Roll on.
2 years ago, the ghost who walked into comic history. The Phantom first appeared in comics.
That's actually what I'm sorry, Ed, go ahead. Kevin, when you showed the little heart here, that's exactly what I thought of, the Phantom. Because as a kid, I loved this comic strip, and I have the really bad movie with, what is it, Zane Grey, or what is Zane somebody?
Yeah, I have it too.
Yeah.
And have it, because I
love that terrible movie.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie for a bad movie. It's,
I love the character as a kid, but for me it was because they used to show the animated cartoon of the Phantom on Saturday morning.
That was a horrible wait a minute, the 90s one?
By jungle law, the ghost who walks calls forth the power of 10 titans.
Yeah, it's that with Billy Zane. Thank you, Gary. Exactly.
That's it. Yeah, Billy Zane.
What year was that cartoon, Kevin? Approximately.
Oh wow, I've got no idea. I'll Google it.
Like late 80s, right?
1986, I believe.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of, because it was like after Thundercats and Silverhawks, and it lasted, I don't know, 3 episodes, because it was that bad. It was like when Captain Power first came out. It's okay, Ed, you had more to add to this while Kevin's looking that up.
Oh, yeah, sure. The Phantom is often credited as being the first comic superhero.
Mm-hmm.
Some comic historians say no, Mandrake the Magician, which came out 2 years earlier, is the first comic superhero. Some comic historians say neither one of them are superheroes. Whatever. Both creations were created by a guy by the name of Lee Falk. So, that was it.
Well, why don't we just give him credit as creating the first comic book hero, which might be one of these. It's well, I guess there is a difference between a comic book hero and a comic book superhero. Like, Batman is not a superhero. He's a hero. Because he's a normal man. He doesn't have super abilities. Okay, we'll move on from there then.
The answer definitively, by the way, and it was Defenders of the Earth, which is what
That's
I'm trying to remember the name of the cartoon. It was 86 to 87.
Very short-lived.
Flash Gordon and Mandrake the Magician.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ed, I'm surprised that you remember that well, because you were well into adulthood by that point.
Oh, sure. I was still a geek.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, I guess from comic strips and comic books, you knew about them, so when they got their own show, you're kind of like, ooh, let's check this out. What, Kev?
I was 10.
It's,
When in 86 did it start?
Chris might be on the chart. Yeah, I was 15 at the time, so it was like right in my come home from school, turn on the TV, which I would go between those cartoons that I've mentioned, like Lion-O and Silverhawks, to Sesame Street, because I loved the puppet parts. The cartoon parts, I'd switch back to the other stuff. But the puppet parts had adult jokes in them that kids never got.
See, my after-school lineup was like Power Rangers, Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah, the kind of stuff I used to watch when I was unemployed.
Oh, Kevin, you're not that much older. I mean, you're between Chris and me in age. You're the same age as Andrea.
42.
Yeah.
I'm 42, which is a great number to beat.
It is. It is. Figured I needed to do this before you aged yet again.
Oh, so he's Jackie Robinson. By the way, Kevin, Jackie Robinson was the first black Major League Baseball player.
Oh, okay. 42 is his number. I take it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I was too polite to ask.
There, I did my bit for Black History Month.
The name was familiar to me. I couldn't place which sport it belonged to. But that's because I'm British and therefore ignorant of anything outside of our own borders.
What are you two doing?
Just shrinking like this all the time.
Stop that.
Somebody find some Flash Gordon or something?
Nope.
Okay, 12 years ago, Ghost Rider was released in theaters.
Really? Only 12 years ago?
Only 12 years.
It still hurts to think about.
You know, that's the one thing I said about...
I've seen the whole movie. I can't.
Don't.
How could you? It's an example of how you take something that is so cool and make it so awful.
It had bits
Step one,
that were okay.
Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
Here's a thought for you, though. Surely, people who watch Ghost Rider, and God forbid those of us like myself, unfortunate to have watched both of them, we're creating another small purpose in life, because now we have the ability to go forth and go, no, don't watch it, that's fucking shit, don't watch something else instead. And all those other people will be saved the trouble of ever watching Ghost Rider.
See,
Yes, but back to my point, it's our purpose of life we do not enjoy because we've had to see it.
well, back to the point I made of sometimes suffering brings wisdom so you can enjoy things even more.
They call that refining the diamond. Refining it.
Is that what it is?
They presumably being cunts.
See, this is something, when I saw Venom, I said it's Ghost Rider done right. It's not a perfect movie, it's not a great movie, but it's Ghost Rider done right.
I didn't see it.
It's not bad. It at least has that fight of good versus evil internally that you wanted Ghost Rider to have that he never even fucking touches on. It's good special effects. It's just a thin storyline, very predictable, but I didn't go in expecting a whole lot, so I wasn't disappointed.
I normally enjoy pretty much any movie that's an adaptation of anything comic or graphic novel based, and I watched it the other day because it was on my list of shit I still haven't seen and I really should catch up on. And yeah, I think you're being kind to it. I think that plot was so thin I could see the next 6 movies coming behind it.
You can say it wasn't bad. I can say it was not good.
Yep.
Not at all. Like, it didn't make me blind.
Okay, I'll wait.
Let me put it this way, Ed. Just for the sake of watching it, you won't feel like you've wasted your time watching it, but don't expect to go, wow, this is the greatest adaptation movie ever. Because it really, but it's worth a watch. Once.
You don't have to pay attention a lot. It's a...
Well, when it comes to Netflix, maybe I'll watch it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It's fun to watch him argue with himself. You know, and I enjoyed that, and like I said, I enjoyed the dichotomy. It, of course, I'm still frustrated that Venom and all that is away from its actual roots, which is Secret Wars. I want a Secret Wars movie so bad. It's because that's where Spider-Man got the black costume. It's an alien symbiote, and for them to have to...
Did you see the Venom?
Yeah.
Any good?
Just talk about
I'm sorry, I'm posting in the chat.
That's the whole movie we're talking about with that you just went, it's horrible.
it. You just said it was horrible.
No, I thought you were talking about Ghost Rider.
No, Ghost Rider was just...
We moved on.
Yeah. That was all about Venom after the Ghost Rider stuff, yeah.
Yes, that's what I was just confirming. Forgive me.
That's okay.
Alright. Here we go.
What else you got, Ed?
Well, speaking of Ghost Rider, I know Ghost Rider was introducing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
Did that continue, or I got so sick of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I didn't even continue. Does anybody know that the storyline continued?
By the way, the season with Ghost Rider was probably their best season that I saw. Then they kind of branched into the Inhumans, and I have not seen that season, but I think Chris has, if I'm not mistaken. No?
No.
So you had Ghost Rider, and from what I can tell, once they finished that story arc in that season, they left it behind. Besides maybe a mention or a cameo, but they do not continue it forward in strength, at least. They go to the Inhumans, which apparently was a great concept, that after 3 or 4 episodes, they just, like, now Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is in outer space, and they're going interstellar, and you're kind of like, what? You ran out of things to do on Earth? You only had 50 loose ends. Yes, Elizabeth?
Thank you, Kevin. Who put that out there?
Nobody knows.
Okay, 33 years ago, The Breakfast Club was released in theaters.
Oh, my God. I was just 6 when I came out.
My daughter watched that movie recently. My wife's been going through watching a lot of her favourite movies from when she was a kid with our daughter, and she absolutely loved it.
John Hughes, baby. John Hughes.
Molly Ringwald, baby. Molly Ringwald.
At least she didn't go apeshit crazy like Winona Ryder did.
Yeah.
Kevin, considering that link you just dropped...
They're in the acting business to define batshit crazy.
Winona Ryder...
Isn't that extraordinary? That movie, $1 million budget, by the way. That movie has appealed to generations, how many years later? 33 years later, and still appeals to teenagers. Good writing.
Because Camaro, and foreign exchange student named Dong, Long Dong.
When Ali Sheedy made that sandwich with the sugar and the Captain Crunch.
Oh, I'm thinking 16 Candles. That's Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
It's a...
Long Duck Dong. What's happening, hot stuff?
It's a...
I've never actually seen 16 Candles.
It's okay. Breakfast Club is better.
I've seen Breakfast Club several times.
Yeah.
Oh, you should watch it. 16 Candles is a solid film.
It is. It is.
Coming of age.
Yeah. Kevin...
And I like it because the father ended up having a very strong role and ended up being a man of wisdom and not just a goofball sometimes in other movies.
Most movies during that era. Yeah.
Still to this day.
Yeah. Kid, what else you got?
68 years ago, Disney's Cinderella in Technicolor premiered in theaters.
How many years ago?
68.
68.
Wow.
Huh. Yeah, it's like my mother's age. Well, it depends which side of, March it's
But my
on.
hair's age.
I'm a collector of the old Disney movies as they come out on Blu-ray. I haven't watched most of them, but I just buy them and collect them.
Now, have you seen the new Frozen trailer?
Yes.
I watched part of it, and then the other people at work started yelling at their desks for me to turn it off. And I haven't gone back.
Why? What were they yelling?
Because they didn't want to listen to the Frozen trailer? I don't know.
Huh.
It's not like there's a lot of people around my desk. There's like 4 other people, and one of them just hates when other people don't have headphones in. And I had lost my headphones somewhere at work around my desk, so I will try. Most of the time he's not even at his desk. It's not a problem, but when he is, he gets grumpy when I've got music on or something on.
Did you tell him to let it go?
Well, the reason I asked... The reason I ask is it's a very short trailer. It doesn't give out much about the movie. The new Frozen trailer.
Oh, there's a new one?
But there has been suggestions, because we all know how two characters from Tangled appeared in Frozen Part 1, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Parents.
No. Rapunzel and Flint were at the wedding from Tangled. And there is fan theories out there that the ship that the Little Mermaid was going through on the ocean floor is the parent ship that was wrecked at sea in Part 1. And some fans are suggesting that what we see here in this trailer is setting it up to create an expanded universe and have them meet up, interact with potentially Little Mermaid and other characters from other movies. Yes?
I thought it was released last year that Disney acknowledged that they were going to make Tarzan their lost brother.
Yeah, that is part of that collection of theories.
Right. I don't think Disney announced it. I think it's a fan theory, but I don't know for sure. So, Google away.
The trailer, if I may, looks beautiful.
It's very nice.
Pouring money. Oh, the ocean scene where she's trying to get past that wave. Ah, it's just gorgeous. I mean, just for an artistic point of view, just for visually, I'll go and see it in the theater.
Okay, we'll go.
I don't know about the story. I don't know anything else.
Well, I enjoyed Part 1 as much as it got overplayed and shoved in our face and everybody was sick of it. I've seen it twice. I own the DVD. I don't watch a lot of social media or TV, so I wasn't flooded with it. And hello, Win. Good to see you. Win says this Disney stuff is getting as complicated as Doctor Who. We don't know if it is yet. These are fan theories at this point in time, unless Elizabeth can pull up something that confirms Disney saying this. Then I'm all for the expanded universe, though. I hope they do it.
Well, and then there's like the Pixar theory that says all of the Pixar movies happen in the same universe, and they are just different points in time of the universe.
Right.
And
like Bug's Life is post-apocalyptic.
Yeah. Well, not
No,
quite.
no, because the pizza truck is still running around.
Cars and all of that, and
Right.
leading into WALL-E is.
Right.
WALL-E is kind of at the front start of the universe timeline, essentially. And then Cars happens and all of that, and then after the people start coming back, there's still this magic in the universe, and that what leads into Bug's Life and Toy Story and all of those other ones and Monsters Inc. And the reason that all of this is started is because Boo is trying to get back through the door to find Sully. And she is the witch that Merida finds in the forest in
Poor
Riff.
Boo!
Well,
Because,
also in that scene, you know how they
They're
always...
outside of her little thing, and there's nothing in her little hovel, and then using the door magic, she's inside, and there's a little picture, there's a little wooden carving of Sully just above the door.
Now, you know why.
That's,
Do you understand why there's a carving of Sully?
Don't do it.
Well, he didn't answer yes or no. If he knew, I was going to let him tell it. If he doesn't, then I'm going to tell it. The reason is, in every Pixar movie, they put a character in the movie from the next movie coming up.
Right.
So, it was Monsters University coming out next, so that's why Sully's in there for the technical reason. Now, this doesn't break your fan theory. And by the way, I want to say real quick hello to Kennedy. Thanks for popping in.
Hey, what up, Kennedy?
Wynn says the Pixar theory is really thorough, and Lady Skipper says Into the Woods did the connected fairy tale universe already, which Into the Woods is great, by the way. Chris, go on.
Yeah, no, that's all I got.
I've got, I'm sitting, they're basically saying that they're more or less confirmed the whole Rapunzel, Elsa, and Anna all being related thing, but it's never been officially confirmed by the film's creators, although they've strongly hinted at it. What they do confirm is one of the other ones you mentioned earlier. Bear with me while I scroll back up to it. Tarzan and Elsa and Anna are definitely related. Let me just read this bit. In an interview with MTV, Frozen director James Buck confirmed that Tarzan, Anna, and Elsa are siblings. He's always imagined Anna and Elsa's parents didn't perish in the shipwreck, and the plot of Tarzan seemed to neatly fit his idea. So apparently that's...
Elizabeth, do you have more to add with what you found?
No, that's I found that MTV quote from the UK and one from 17 Celebrities. So.
Very good.
And I think it was in the animation magazine too. But yeah, absolutely. It's,
I'm thrilled.
I'll tell you what I'll do, actually, for anyone who's interested, there's a bunch of other related Disney movies, some of which aren't true. I'll find the link again and I'll throw it up in Twitch in case I'm going to...
So what do we all think of the Will Smith genie?
Oh my god. Someone had to go there tonight, didn't they?
I just saw 2 seconds of him on TikTok. I didn't even know that. I don't know.
Live action Aladdin. And Will Smith plays the genie. Now, originally when they announced him, they weren't going to make him blue. And everybody was like, oh, thank goodness. He's blue. They actually had a clip of him not blue, and they have blued him. He's been blued.
Have you guys seen the memes I've seen in about the last 24 hours going around on the internet? So it's, the caption just says "the genie we deserve," and it's the same mock-up from the trailer, but it's Terry Crews and stuff.
Okay, Ed, what's next?
27 years ago, Silence of the Lambs.
Well, that's worth talking about.
Has it been that long?
That's okay. We discovered while you were gone, Ghost Rider was only 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Then we bashed it. We talked about Venom.
Well, because Frank likes it. I remember seeing it with him, so...
And what the meaning, like the definition of life as a term is from the moment you watched Ghost Rider till now. Long it feels like a lifetime.
Daredevil was another one.
Actually, that came out this month too, but I did not put it on my list.
See, I didn't think that Daredevil was all that bad. Now, Elektra, that was terrible.
I agree with Chris.
Yeah, because I like Daredevil, but Elektra was like...
The Daredevil one I thought was they had a pretty good Daredevil adaptation.
Which Daredevil? Now, I'm talking about Ben Affleck.
Correct.
That one.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I didn't enjoy it at all.
Why?
I don't know, maybe it's just Affleck. Maybe there's just something about him that pisses me off.
I love the trailer. It does. I don't like Ben Affleck. I don't know why. I want to slap him. Okay. But the trailer got me to the movie. I got really excited. I convinced a friend to go from the trailer. When you were having some kind of argument in a cafe, I can't remember, he and his friend, it got me to see it. You know, when I saw it, and we were drinking beer, it did not get better. We started drinking more. What did you like about it? I'm curious, because
I couldn't tell you now because it's been far too many years since I've only seen it like twice.
The only thing I liked about that movie was when they showed you like a visual depiction of how he was interpreting the sound waves. You know the bit where it goes, and you can see how all the echoes bounce off things and create a picture in his mind. That was cool. I liked the way they did that. But as far as like Affleck trying to carry off Daredevil, the only thing that was wrong about that was that Daredevil was the only one who was blind. And not those of us watching it.
I liked the part when he was a kid. That was fun. When he got beat up.
So it's quite a while since I've seen it.
From what I hear, most people who didn't like it is because they don't like Ben Affleck. They have a problem with Ben Affleck.
He's Batman, too.
Now, it's as for what I liked about it, I just didn't see what everybody hated about it. I thought it was a pretty reasonable comic book adaptation. By the way, Wynn says, I almost immediately forget a superhero movie after seeing it, maybe a mental defense mechanism. Why watch them at all, then? Why watch them at all, Wynn? It's, But yeah, it wasn't a kind of like Venom. It wasn't a great movie, but it's not bad. And Elektra was just...
I have it. I watch it from time to time. I just don't like the story.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very good.
Yeah. Now, Netflix's Daredevil, especially season 1,
That was good.
was just great. There we go, Kevin. We see your small black heart. What's written on it? Lil? L-I-L? It's a little heart?
No, I think it's just supposed to be a design. I don't think it's supposed to actually say anything. Kind of looks like Dick.
Jules says Affleck was too fat and out of shape to be Daredevil. It's I don't think any of us loved it. But and Kennedy says,
In all fairness, I didn't hate it. It's not like, oh no, God, you got that one. I'm going to leave down to watch it. I just, as far as adaptions go, it's not one of the ones that make me go, yeah, I appreciate how that they've done the original justice with that. I don't despise it or anything.
can anybody name an Affleck movie that they loved?
I did love Good Will Hunting, but that's because they didn't write it.
I've never seen that.
Really? I own it.
It's a good
Very good movie.
Thoroughly enjoyed Dogma.
Absolutely.
That one's a pretty great movie.
Oh, I guess he is in that.
Gary, let me address that for you, but I think I have to turn this over to Elizabeth. Has anybody seen Glass?
No.
Not yet. I showed Andrea Unbreakable last night, and she had never seen it. Now Split is back in Redbox, and I haven't seen that, so we're looking forward to renting that and enjoying that, and then Glass when available. Anybody else seen Glass?
Travis, will you check the link in the Discord?
Yeah, I saw that. I wanted to ask, have you seen this Into the Spider-Verse, which has an 8.9 on IMDb, by the way? It's got...
No, but a friend of mine watched it and said actually he quite enjoyed it. Said it was really enjoyable. But I've not seen it, so I can't offer an opinion on it.
Visually, it looks stunning.
Yeah.
And the animation, and there's a lot of comedic scenes that I still have yet to see it, but I want to, and I hear great.
Yeah, same here.
Good story.
Okay, anything to add, Chris, Ed?
I've heard nothing but good things.
Okay, Ed, what else you got?
27 years ago, Deadpool first appeared in Marvel's The New Mutants number 98.
How many years ago?
28. Early 90s.
I have that one. Wow.
Really? Wow.
In my garage, a big trunk full of comics.
Somebody just cringed hearing that.
I know. Oh, they're just destroyed. I'm sure they're all mildew and
Bugs making homes in them and all that good stuff.
It's sealed. It's sealed. Yes.
Oh, by the way, going back to Kennedy's comment, he did mention the fight choreography in Netflix. Daredevil is extraordinary. Yeah, I don't think anybody would disagree with that. It was a wonderfully done, especially that one long 7-minute fight scene where they go down the hall and back through. It was, definitely wonderfully done.
You know, and this is a little off the mark, but that's what I really enjoyed about that movie, Atomic Blonde, was the choreography. They sat down and not only choreographed a fight scene between characters that also reflected where they were in the story, what was going on, but then they coordinated that with a good cinematographer and stunt coordinator, and they were just incredible scenes of this woman getting her ass kicked, but surviving through it.
Not for that reason. I really loved that movie.
I've got great news, guys. Speaking of Kevin covering his ass before making such a comment, I'm going through the new releases on Netflix, and I found in a row under new releases 4 offensive shows or movies. Like they're just like in the thing, they're like, this is offensive. And I'm like, well, thank goodness. Let the pendulum swing back away from... I'm all for being sensitive and concerned, but...
Fuck that shit.
Back it up a little. We've gone a little too far. Let's piss somebody off. Let's make somebody walk out of a room once in a while. It's okay to do that. Not everybody has to like everything and be comfortable with every joke. It's so anyhow.
Some of us pay to be offended.
Yeah.
Travis, if you want to ever see the dark side of Netflix, all you need to do is log in as me.
I
go back to the watch again list.
Maybe I'll do that. I've gone to your account like once, and you don't save any movies to your account. You don't have like your list built.
No, I just go in because I don't tend to rewatch stuff all the time. So I just go in and I either go to to new watching, or I know what I'm looking for and I search for it because I'm annoying.
So what was the?
I watch a lot of comedy stuff as well. Netflix. If I've got Netflix on, I'm normally doing something else as well. So I either tend to put on chewing gum movies where I've either seen it before or I don't really need to pay a great deal of attention to what's going on.
There's a show called Chewing Gum.
I put either documentaries or comedy, so I can, stick it on the TV in the background. I can still be gaming or messaging people or doing something else at the same time.
So what was the one film that was least deserving of being considered offensive?
Oh wow! Well, something that claimed to be offensive.
Well, Travis said he's found 4 in a row that were offensive, and I thought, well, what?
Yeah, I'm curious. What are the 4 offensive things? What are tonight's candidates for offense?
Now, one is a series, a Netflix series called The Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's now give me a second. I'm signing in.
I know people are up in arms about the Umbrella Academy right now because of proposed incest, where it's their step siblings
Right.
are like romantically interested in each other, but like you're not going to get upset over Game of Thrones, where why is this offensive and Game of Thrones isn't? Essentially was this article that I saw pop up. Yes.
If I may respond to that article, I watched the whole season. None of the characters are really related. They were all born on the same day.
Correct.
Around the world. I think like 100 people were
43.
in the sky. 43. And they were from like women who weren't pregnant and suddenly bore children. Like, out of the tower immediately. And this guy collected 7 of them. So they're not even related. They were just raised together. So that's
right.
Okay.
I saw it. I enjoyed it. It's okay. It should be better. I couldn't figure out why it's not working, and I still kept. But I saw it. This was wild.
Okay. The other ones are The Degenerates, which is stand-up comics who are offensive. Can you hear me okay?
You're breaking up.
Right. Because I had to pull up Netflix, and as I mentioned, my internet is crap. 1 second.
I thought there was a lot of violence in the Umbrella. I didn't find it offensive at all. Yeah. I don't even think they said guns.
Well, fuck those
There's one character they want you to root for and about. Like, no, you can't kill her. Disliking her so much, I was looking forward to her dying. In fact, I was rooting for them to kill this person. And that's not a good.
Okay, I got him. So, besides the Umbrella Academy, The Degenerates, which are stand-up comics, and they list in there these people are offensive.
One of them we had on the show.
Yeah, one of them we've had on Talk of the Tavern and interviewed him. And that'd be Brad Williams. Super Drags.
I've watched some of those. They're definitely they're worth a look.
Super Drags. Because it's I think, Portuguese or Brazilian cartoon about drag queens as superheroes.
It looks awesome.
Oh, that's right. I saw that.
Come on, you're going to tell me somebody's not going to get offended by that? On both sides of the issue.
that doesn't mean it's offensive. It just means that...
You know what? I don't find George Carlin offensive, but a lot of people do. It's now,
especially fuck those cunts then.
Now the last one I found is Kaminsky Method, which has Alan Arkin and Michael Douglas. And Michael Douglas is a theater teacher, and there's one of the young women in the class who's like, I have a right to be offended, don't I? And he's like, you want to be offended, try having a man's a finger in your ass for a prostate exam or something like that. But it's the generational difference where they're 70 or so. And they're still dating, and they're still, one of their, Alan Arkin's wife just died, and, it's those two coming together to support him in this time, as Michael Douglas is now dating somebody in her 40s or whatever. But yeah, I'm really looking...
I watched the first, 4 or 5 episodes. It's pretty good.
Good, Kev.
Segueing neatly back to admiration about Stephen Fry earlier, my favourite quote in the world ever about people who get offended is by Stephen Fry, and it's the following. It's now very common to hear people say, I'm rather offended by that, as if that gives them certain rights. It's no more than a whine, it has no meaning, it has no purpose, it has no reason to be respected as a phrase. I'm offended by that. Well, so fucking what?
Yeah, something else I heard somewhere, and I've started carrying it around with me, is you cannot give offense, you can only take offense. So...
Challenge accepted.
Let us know next week how that turns out for you. Ed, what else you got? Oh, go ahead, Elizabeth.
It's so droll to take offense. Just be creative.
It's my day off tomorrow. I now consider purpose in life for the next 24 hours to attempt to give offense to as many people as possible and then report back to you.
Go ahead, Ed.
Give offense, give a fuck. Your choice.
Well, speaking of being offended, I'm sure none of us were. We probably laughed our asses off. 45 years ago, Blazing Saddles was
Still love it. Shared it with my son, so we make sure these things passed on.
Brilliant.
That's funny. Toei says, President's been trying really hard to give the U.S. offense.
No, that's
Wrong vowel, wrong vowel.
Yeah, and a lot of people are fucking offended.
How can something inanimate be racist? I mean, are we really at this point?
probably.
So we've established basically that you can take offence, you can give offence, but no one can decide who's going to pay for offence.
Yeah.
You can't
We all pay.
Okay, 54 years ago. G.I. Joe, fighting man from head to toe. Yeah.
How many years ago?
54.
This is the action figure. Okay, not the cartoon or comic book or movie. Okay. 54. That's the year you were born, Ed.
Yeah, I'm 54 years old, yeah.
We had G.I. Joe here, but Action Man was the biggest.
Action Man.
Yeah. Isn't that what
British version of G.I. Joe? British soldier with, interchangeable uniforms and boots and gear and gun. Arctic Action Man, Desert Action Man, and all the rest of it. Talking Action Man.
Teacups.
In the back of the pre-recorded
a nice little tea set.
Tea time Action Man.
Yeah.
Did he watch the video?
My
Which
brother
video?
had the Saints car, and I think little missiles shot out of the back. Or I was quite young, but yeah, I wasn't allowed to touch it, so I'd have to wait till he was out of the house.
My sister had divorced Barbie. Yeah, it's like the normal Barbie head, but it comes with Ken's house, Ken's car, Ken's globe.
Kevin, did you watch...
Chardonnay.
Sorry, go on. Do I watch what?
Did you watch the video Andrea posted earlier of Learn to Speak Americanish?
No.
You need to watch that. You need to watch that.
Where is it? Is it in Discord?
It's in Discord.
Yeah.
As a British person, you need to watch this.
Now, if you want,
That
Kevin...
girl is either the most ignorant child I've heard in a while or comedic genius. I'm praying to
Now,
God. She's
Kevin,
comedic.
if you pull it up, in about 15 minutes, we're going to take our little 5-minute break so you can mute us and watch it during that time. Because
Yeah, that's cool.
it's a 4-minute video, give or take.
No,
Okay, did we totally skip over Blazing Saddles and the glory that it is?
I don't think we skipped over it, rather than all instantly acknowledged it and went, yeah, we don't really need to discuss that.
Well, I have determined whenever I do a live show at a convention, I cannot do Mel Brooks humor during my shows because it gets me in trouble.
Yep.
It gets you in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I've been banned from conventions for making such jokes. Now,
Well, people don't know the reference.
well, no, not referencing the movie, making those
Just
kind
the
of
type
jokes.
humor. Yeah.
Oh.
Which, by the way, I have learned how to do this without getting in trouble. Immediately when the audience groans at the joke, go, no, it's okay, I am blank, whatever the joke was about.
You're
That's
black.
why it keeps me around.
Right. That and cheap
I
labor.
have a purpose in life.
And the other way to do it is have whatever group you're going to make the joke about sitting next to you actually delivering the joke. Because you're not allowed to get offended if a black man makes a black joke, or a Hispanic guy makes a Hispanic joke, or a woman
Makes a joke.
makes any joke at all.
I know what to do. I'll get offended if I want to.
We know. Elizabeth tells a joke, gets offended at herself.
That's a video we gotta do. I'm offended myself. I'm offended.
I've triggered me. I triggered myself 3 times yesterday. What are you talking about? Okay, Ed, what's next?
74 years ago, Captain America made his first live-action appearance. He debuted in the serial Captain America: A Republic. He was the
In the
first
serial?
Marvel character to appear outside of a comic.
What'd you say?
He debuted in Serial? Was the milk cold?
Serial was the little thing they used to show the movie before the movie when you went to the movies.
I was trying to be funny.
She's not
It
the
didn't
girl.
work.
She's not the girl from the YouTube video. She actually knows.
I was trying to be funny. It just didn't work. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's it's Captain America was it's a pill bottle. We're settling. Go on, Ed.
Wow.
You know what?
Oh, I was done with Captain America. I got birthdays if we're ready for that.
Go ahead.
All right, February 17th, 1936, NFL legend Jim Brown was born. February 18th, y'all probably remember Jim Brown from the Police Academy movies, but anyway. February 18th, 1965, rapper, recording producer Dr. Dre was born.
What year?
65. Year after me.
Andre.
Dre.
It's funny.
February
Currently,
21st.
sorry, just to interject. Currently, I read just earlier today he's producing Busta Rhymes' new album. Which could be intriguing.
Yeah,
That's all I've got there.
that's interesting. February 21st, 1946, the voice of God, actor Alan Rickman was born. February
At
22nd.
least it wasn't a spoon.
By a spoon.
It's
It'll hurt more, you twit.
real quick. A few comments. There you go. Thank you, Toey. A few comments. Kennedy says, "We'll take Ed, but not the Irish." Then he said, "I think Ed's 2-2 using Jim Brown with Bubba Smith." And Toey cheered 50 for Jim Brown. So which character did you say was Jim Brown?
He's right. It was Bubba Smith. I'm sorry.
Okay. So who's...
Jim Brown was known for beating up his wives.
That's...
That was James Brown.
Yeah.
And that was James Brown, too.
So who is Jim Brown?
Bobby Brown.
Football player.
Football player, thank you. Okay.
Wasn't he Chicago?
Go Bears.
Cincinnati.
Oh, that's right, yeah. But he jumped over a balcony, and then beat his wife, and then jumped over the balcony, and then I think he got away in his car.
You gotta remember the bad thing about the brother.
Did she say he peed on his wife and jumped off the balcony?
No, beat his wife, unlike OJ, who leaped over luggage and then stabbed his wife.
No, I remember, because I think we met him in Berlin. He came to the Air Force Base, and he saw my brother's cast. He was enormous, just a huge guy, really nice, right? And then a few years later, it was in the papers, and my father said, "Remember that guy you met with his huge hand? That's the guy that hit his wife."
Hold on, Toei's offended. We've offended Toei. Hold on a second.
Mission accomplished. That was our purpose in life.
Toei says, famous running back for the Cleveland Browns, you dopes. Browns fan in house. She even had a misspelling and didn't use punctuation. It's incredible. She is just pissed.
I don't watch the football.
Backing slowly away from the Twitch. Yeah.
Running Man, that would be the smart move when we piss off Toei there, Kennedy. Now, are you saying he was in Running Man, or are you saying he used to do the dance, the Running Man? They're both fun to watch.
He was secretly Richard Bachman who wrote the Running.
It's anyhow.
Bizarrely, he's also secretly Stephen King.
Secretly.
Yeah, I got a little wrong. A woman was found beneath his balcony, beaten, and it was
It wasn't him.
It was.
Blame the brother.
I remember people who have committed violence. Yes, I do. I do remember that. I think it's an action of mental safety. Like, oh.
Although now you blame the guy that's wearing the mega hat.
So if I don't talk to Elizabeth for 2 years, she's going to be like, who are you? I don't remember you. Well, maybe if you punched somebody in front of me, I'd know who the hell you were.
Jim Brown was in Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
And Running Man as Fireball, apparently, from what Kennedy's saying.
Oh, he's a big guy.
He got game.
He got
He
game?
was in a movie called Sucker Free City. I gotta see that.
Well, apparently he was in an episode of Knight Rider also.
Sucker Free.
Sucker Free City, that's brilliant.
Oh,
That's just made me think I really need to go and rewatch I'm Gonna Get You Sucker.
Love that movie.
look, good job.
Goldfish in the shoes.
Yeah.
Everything's connected. It's extraordinary, isn't that? Everything is wow.
Ah, that guy. See, if you had said that right away, Toei. Toei says he punched a Martian in Mars Attack. Now I know who he is. I'm not even... I'm totally not even fucking kidding. Hey, there's Jamin. OJ Taxi Service. We'll get you to the airport with an hour to kill. I don't think that's the mic she's actually using, because I still hear her very clearly.
Oh my god. That was good.
Well done, Jim.
It's horrible, but that was good.
What else do you have, Ed?
Today is Drink Wine Day.
We have a bottle of wine in the other... Yeah, you could have mentioned this in the beginning of the show.
I thought you said like an hour and 50 minutes. It's 10 to 3 in the morning in the UK. Do you think I justified cracking open a bottle of wine?
We have one bottle left in the house.
Could have just found the purpose in life.
Drink for your life.
Okay, and we have 10 minutes till the third hour. In case anybody needs a longer break.
Okay, 2 more real quick.
Go ahead, Ed.
Howard the Duck animated series will be coming to Hulu.
Wait, say that again?
Howard the Duck.
And Howard the Duck animated series will be coming to Hulu.
To Hulu, not to Disney streaming.
To Hulu.
Disney does
Interesting.
not want to claim Howard the Duck.
I look forward to it. I want it to be like, you fucking put Danny DeVito's voice over Howard the Duck. Let's do that.
Let him be Howard the Duck.
Wasn't there a massive thing where everyone was clamoring for the second Guardians of the Galaxy?
Howard the Duck.
It was leaning that way,
Or
even.
Danny
Yeah, I'm
DeVito.
sure I remember reading something about that. Loads of people were saying they'd love to see it.
Yeah.
It's got quite a niche following now.
So I'm looking now. Is there any other news on that? Is there a release date? Is there director,
Haven't
actor?
released it. I don't know what the other 3 were, but it's supposed to be 4. Disney is releasing 4 Marvel characters to Hulu to make.
Well, hopefully they keep Cloak and Dagger, because that was
So,
a wonderful 10 or 12 episodes.
I would
It
like
was-
to watch more of it.
Yeah, it's especially those last 3 episodes where I was delighted. They were delicious. And
I think Kevin's looking it up.
they also have
And I'm on it.
Gifted is on there, which is kind of like a X-Men spin-off with teenagers, if I'm not mistaken. I only watched 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Tempe! Were you here the whole time, Tempe? Andrew is really enjoying your book, Tempe.
I like the horse.
4 adult series released by Disney DIS in a recent signed deal with Hulu and Marvel Studios. The adult series will be based on Marvel television characters Hitmonkey, Tigra and Dazzler, Howard the Duck, and MODOK, mental organism designed only for killing.
Who and
Apart from
Dazzler?
individual Tigra, Tigra,
Tigra.
or Tigra and Dazzler.
Okay, I know
Apart
Dazzler.
from the individual series, all the 4 characters will feature together in an animated special called The Offenders.
That was our nickname.
Are you okay?
Is that real?
Well, according to yeah.
That's
Article on
fucking
the 14th
great.
of
According to
February.
the Onion.
Yeah, it's been confirmed.
It's well, Tempe, thanks for stopping in. You have a good night. If you can't sleep,
Night, Tempe.
No,
come back in 10 minutes. We'll still be here for another hour. Anyhow.
And last but not least, Michonne will be leaving The Walking Dead after season 10. For The Walking
That show's still going.
Dead. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was ending.
Nope.
No, Rick
Oh,
left.
How fitting.
Rick left, but it's not ending.
No, I think it's good. I think they should have relied more heavily on the second tier characters and brought them up to first tier characters sooner. And there's some characters that always felt like second tier characters, even when they were in the primary tier of the storyline. And I don't think it has to do with the actor or actresses that played them. I think it just has to do with the writing and the directing. It's like the old man that died in season 2 or 3 in the prison.
Virtual?
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah, my bad.
Sorry.
It's he always felt like he should be one of the leads because just how he came across on the screen. Okay, this time at 5 till, which is in just a couple minutes, I am going to get up and refill my drink. Do you want me to refill
Yeah.
yours?
I'm going to dip out for a minute and I'm going to mute you guys and turn you off so I can watch this video.
Okay.
We're back.
And Ed's
Hi,
saying
Ed.
good night to us. Do you want to wait 5 more minutes, or are you out right now, buddy?
Oh, yeah, I'll wait 5 more minutes.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'll go now so I can say goodbye before you go.
Ed, I'm going to say goodnight now because my need for this is greater than my need to stick around.
Good night, bro.
Good night, man.
You need
It's good to catch up with you again.
I'll hang out. I'll hang out with it.
We'll hang. I'll
I'll
hang.
hang.
All right.
It's a really
I
good
let my
book.
shit hang. You left your shit hang, huh?
Hey, didn't I send you recently a link, some kind of bacon thing on Facebook?
Yes, thank you so much. Going to be trying that.
Oh, let me know. Let me know. That was the one with the, was it like brown sugar and maple syrup
Yes.
and then dipped? Oh.
Yes. I like to dip in my bacon.
Hey, Andrea's here. Ah, you're hiding in the dark. We need to get you another light source.
Well, and the thing is, I can't use my computer in my office because the internet is barely working with this. So, I'm just here.
Jewel, happy birthday. Jewel's birthday is on the 13th.
Oh, happy birthday!
Well, happy birthday. I can't see you on my phone, but I can see you on Twitch.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh.
Gorgeous. You look fake.
I have to wear my glasses today because my eyes are bothering me. I'll just hide. That's why I'm hiding.
Are they dry?
I don't know. Just aggravated.
Yes. I got to undress in the locker room today and have a lesbian watch me. Actually, I got dressed.
Oh, was she aggressive?
No, but she definitely. Sorry. She definitely. Yeah. She's been attracted to me for a while, and I came out of the shower and there she was.
Well, when you're standing out of the shower doing this, you know.
With the pick off.
I love it when you do that.
She's talking about her lesbian watching her get dressed out of the shower.
That's yeah.
Where do you get one of those?
See, you missed everything out.
Oh, wait a
I was
minute.
a lesbian.
The 13th was Jewel's birthday.
We said that.
Oh, okay, good.
We said happy
Well, happy birthday, Jewel. Well, I know. Happy birthday now. Happy birthday, Jewel. What is Chris doing? Is he did he
He's
get?
going into the light. Don't do it, Chris.
We did a video about him going into the light.
I know. I think his face print is still on that wall.
So, Ed, how is what's the plan at work tonight, sir?
What's the plan at work tonight?
Yeah, has things slowed down now, or they're?
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually get to watch a couple of Netflix movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice, nice. So, do you get a raise yet?
Shit.
And if he watches porn, he does.
Really, you're working all these fucking doubles and extra hours, and they haven't thrown you $1?
It's contract work, so contract work, you get a raise if they get a raise out of the client. If that doesn't happen, then...
Let them watch porn, they'll get a raise.
Did Elizabeth fall down?
Probably.
I was trying to turn on the fan in my room because it's getting quite warm. However, it makes like rattling noise. So I then was trying to figure out if there was a setting of speed that it didn't make the rattling noise because no one wants to hear the fan make the noise in the background. But then on its lowest setting, the blades kind of stopped and the motor just kind of made an even worse sounding and trying real hard noise. So, no fan.
As a homeowner, I recognize everything you just described.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of ceiling fans, we might as well just get rid of that one in the
landlord
bedroom.
isn't going to come and do anything about it because the fan still works. So
That's easy to
they don't
fix.
do shit until it's actually broken.
You should return
No, it is broken because it's a danger. But anyhow, it's that's a matter of perspective. It's oh, well, I guess we do have to say goodnight to Ed now and let him. Are you going to get a nap before work, or you just had a...
Yeah, I'm going to lay down for a couple hours.
Nice, nice. What time do you go in now?
I get up at midnight to go in.
Okay, so you'll get a couple hour and a half. That's a decent nap. That's not a bad nap. It's I appreciate you coming in. Yep, there she is. She didn't fall down. She's okay. You see where she lost the weight in her face, right? Okay. I'm not the only one. Oh, look, she's hot too,
It's not
Chris.
the face I was looking at just now.
It's well.
All right, get the penny cash. Have a good one.
Hey, kid. We'll see you later.
See ya!
Oh, let's see here. Oh, thank goodness, it's almost okay.
Wow.
Let's see. Okay, I only have to fix 2.
I watched your video.
Yeah?
And
I don't care whether she's a comic genius or she's really stupid. I still want to punch and come in the face.
So you know you speak Americanish just with an accent.
Yeah. I get the twang of Alaska.
Hawaii. I like Hawaiian.
Hawaiian.
Hawaiianish.
We don't need no Hawaiian accent.
Or Canadian with the ching chong.
Ching chang. Ching
Yeah.
That's the next president of the
You
United
want to know what the most alien thing meant? Her eyebrows.
States.
Like, what the fuck is going on there? It's like two slugs crawled under her forehead for a fight. Gave up halfway.
I thought visually she was very interesting.
That's one word. It's a very polite word. Very, very polite.
Why is she?
Bizarrely, when I scrolled up and found the video in the thread earlier, so I was ready to watch, and it was on still, you know, the paused frame that you get before you play the video. I thought she kind of looked a little bit like Arya Stark.
yeah, I can see that.
Sure.
And then the video started, and I thought, no, because Arya kills other people, I just want to kill you.
Yeah, that video has been around for a while. I'm surprised you guys haven't seen it. It's I was also surprised when.
No, but just something that came up today and a couple of times recently. I guess you guys have probably seen it, but to mention classic language videos. A couple of my friends have just discovered the one where it's people saying things in different language, and one of the last one is always German.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that one. That's I'd forgotten all about that till someone mentioned it the other day. It's been around for years.
That's a good one.
I posted that on the subway, Muppets, and I was always one of my favorites growing up. But now, after living in New York, it's become even more amazingly accurate.
Have you been on Facebook today, Elizabeth?
I have not.
No. This is why you have not seen the picture I tagged you in earlier today.
Oh, no.
Like this. Yeah.
Kennedy asks if we're familiar with the German Coast Guard picture or video commercial. Not at all, Kennedy. Do share. Post a link.
Yeah, if you've got a link, pop it up. It brings a picture in my head.
There we go. All the cameras are fixed now. There we go.
Oh, no.
Okay.
My internet's now very slow.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's do the intro music to the third hour real quick here.
Control Alt Delete.
It's a mock-up of Escape from New York. This is when Escape doesn't work, and then the title of the movie is probably Leave from New York.
So pour another drink, strap yourself in. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Welcome to the third hour. It is time for roll call. Everybody let us know if you're still with us and what vices you're still partaking of.
I am still with you. I'm still drinking black coffee, attempting to stay awake and lively. I'm still smoking from tobacco, and I finished the Krispy Kremes.
Very good. I am no longer partaking of rum, just having Coke Zero. It's What about you, Chris? Who?
Chris.
Chris, are you
I'm
muted?
muted. That would be why. I'm too am down to just Dr. Pepper.
Are you?
Black coffee, check in the sea.
I've left the rum in the closet.
Thank you, Kevin.
It's fate, Chris. It's fate. The only sad thing there is, oh no, drink them separate for the love of God.
It's got a big bottle somewhere.
I thought that's what were you drinking rum and Dr. Pepper?
I was. It wasn't cracking, but I was drinking rum and Dr. Pepper.
Don't try that.
I do like your lighting effect there, Elizabeth.
Well, thank you.
Cool.
And John says he has a monster before closing. There's a penis joke in there. And
I bet he does. Why not? You're not going to do it in your own bar.
And Jamin is on Jules' account. He says, Skipper here with Mountain Dew. I can't drink more than like 3 or 4 ounces of Mountain Dew before I'm like, ugh, I'm done. It's good for those, like that little bit, but then I feel like it needs to be a mixed cocktail.
I'm pretty sure you can get it in certain places over here, but I don't think I've ever tried a Mountain Dew.
It's just very
Is it?
syrupy and sweet. That's all. Just it's,
Yeah.
What flavour is it? Yeah, I was going to say.
citrus.
Right, great. Huh?
Citrus,
like
but it's
sort of lemony,
Like a
limey.
mellow yellow, but more extreme.
It's-
I don't know if you've got mellow
it's
yellow.
not light and crisp like a 7-Up or a Sprite. It's very heavy and thick, and
Gotcha.
it's a
Okay.
bit.
Do you watch Futurama at all, Kevin? Okay, it's Slurm.
Oh, okay, right, gotcha. It's weird that cultural reference makes more sense to me than the drinks you guys are trying to rep with.
You know, it's amazingly sweet. One is it just feels like it's rotting your teeth and your brain as you consume it.
Yeah.
Come on in. I can see you eyeing up the lap. Come and say hello.
I don't
to you
think I've
first.
had a Mountain Dew really since like the early 2000s, like the last real LAN party, you know, where everyone's hooked their computers up in the living room to play like Counter-Strike or something ridiculous like that.
Mountain Dew and rum.
Actually, I would do Mountain Dew and vodka.
Never put good rum in Mountain Dew.
Yeah, I do Mountain Dew and vodka. Is what I was.
Look at that face.
Oh, listen to that purr.
You know.
There you go.
The guy.
Jamin says it's orange juice jacked up on sugar and caffeine. We call it slurm.
Slurm. Can't stop drinking it.
It's a.
I had a little bit of Mountain Dew that was like the old style version where it was pure sugar cane. That was pretty yummy.
Yeah, that's not bad, and maybe that's why I don't drink it anymore, because they switched to high fructose corn syrup, and I can't
Yeah.
process it correctly. Because, like now, like I said, 4 or 5 ounces, I'm done. More than that, I start to get queasy, and yeah, just it's not good stuff.
Nobody processes corn syrup. That's why there's an obesity problem.
Kenny says, I've been drinking gin and tonic lately. Kennedy, let me know if you need suggestions on gin, because different gins work well with tonic and some don't. So I used...
different types of tonics.
See, I've asked people about tonic, and nobody gives me, like, oh, there's a better tonic for that. Because I'm like, there has to be, right? There has to be one that's sweeter or crisper or...
Absolutely, not just that, but you get a great variety, especially now. I don't know if it's the same in the US, but certainly in Britain, there's been a massive resurgence in the drinking of gin in the last 4 or 5 years. And correspondingly, the tonic and supplemental market expanded alongside of it. I don't know if you get them in the US. Have a look for a company called Fever Tree. If you can get Fever Tree tonic in the US, they do a whole range, about 6 or 7 different ones, everything from elderflower, Mediterranean, aromatic, lemon, they've got a great range. If you can get those, they're brilliant for mixing different types of gin. Because yes, very much so, the right kind of tonic with the right kind of gin creates a whole different drinking experience.
Well, for my martinis, I like a different gin than I like for my gin and tonic. I want my gin and tonic. I don't mind it a little bit. Yes, Fever Tree Kennedy. And Kennedy says, yes, found out that most tonic have high fructose corn syrup. That's another thing. When you were shopping, start reading labels and avoid it.
Actually, you just remind me of something. Thank you. Having record Fever Tree, because it's the brand I use in my bar. One thing to point out, you get, normally in standard tonic, you get, I don't know what you call it over there, it's a light tonic here. Basically, it's normally a sugar-free one. You have like a regular tonic or a sugar-free version. With the Fever Tree one, what they call their natural, is not actually sugar-free, it's just lower sugar. So if you are diabetic or sensitive to sugar and you don't watch, because it's caught a few British people out who think it's the same as, for example, a non-sugar tonic, and it's not quite the same thing.
Okay. Here's what I'll tell you about the high fructose corn syrup in anything, guys. If we don't buy it, they'll quit making it. So if you have a choice of Mountain Dew, real sugar versus high fructose, avoid the one with high fructose. Same with your, I don't care, your fucking pancake syrup, your orange juice, anything you buy, if you avoid it, they'll go back to real. Because their thought is, here's the deal, when they switched over, it's because they were cheaper, but they didn't lower the price. Now they're re-releasing the stuff with real sugar at higher prices. But, yeah. Diet tonic isn't a bad idea, Kennedy. It's, but like I said, different tonics must have different flavors. It feels, densities, and,
Don't be, I mean, if you can't get the flavour you want in terms of being able to either decent tonics or a flavoured tonic, don't be afraid to add stuff into the tonic yourself.
See, that's what I do. I buy plain tonic and get lime.
Yeah, but use your gin, add your tonic, get the balance of alcoholic liquid to non-alcoholic liquid, and then chuck in whatever you want to flavour it. Put fresh herbs in it. There's a couple of great gin cocktails I do, one of which uses fresh lemon thyme and the other fresh rosemary. You just literally, just crush the sprig up a little bit in your fingers to release the aroma and flavour from the leaves a little bit before you chuck it in. Give it a good stir in and some nice.
And if you have to, put it in your little tea thing so you don't get shit all in your drink.
Freshly squeezed lemon juice, slices of orange or pink grapefruit, any kind of citrus peel, to be honest. Pear is nice. It's a nice contrast to some drier gins. If you like a particularly dry gin, you think a bog standard Gordon's or a London Sipsmith or something like that. That's quite nice to that.
And why don't you go to read those comments there, Kev? That way you can reply to them also.
Oh, okay.
And you don't have to read them all.
Lime or lemon is good, but you want to watch if you're doing a G&T. A lot of people always go, oh well, it's gin, ice, tonic water, lemon. Lemon really does work with a lot of gins. Ironically, it was just kind of every bar has lemon. We'll put lemon in a gin and tonic. The same way that you get lemon in a Coke.
I prefer lime, and I go very light on it because 2-3 drops, you totally change the flavor. You don't need a whole lot.
But so gin intrinsically, from the way it's made anyway, drink. So what you don't want to do is mix it with too much heavy citrus, really sharp citrus, because what you're doing is creating something on the palate, although that gives you a nice flavour on the back of your tongue. The initial reaction is like sucking a piece of lemon. You take a sip of your drink, that's not what you want. You're better off with something that's got citrus, but it's also packed with a bit of crush a couple of fresh raspberries in, or gooseberry, grapes, anything that you like, but to try and avoid the harsh citrus.
Good night, John. Drive safe, bud.
No.
But it also depends. The flavor will vary drastically depending what kind of gin you choose. Some are much more floral versus dry, etc. There's another comment in there too.
Just checking.
Oh, the
Very
old
nice
fashioned as a
citrus,
mock-up.
Yeah. Yeah, martini. That's when you do want to try a gin. I think that you get a much nicer martini using dry gins.
I agree.
I mean, do you get a large variety of gin available on the American market these days? Or if
Oh,
you walk
lots.
into a bar, do you expect to see? What's it in an average bar? How many gins would you find?
3 to 4.
Probably 3.
And do they tend to be the same ones?
Tanqueray,
yeah.
Hendrix, and Bombay Sapphire.
Correct.
Okay, I've got all 3 of those. I've got 17 others.
Okay, see, that's nice. When you go into the liquor store, you might find 17 total.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I think that depends on your liquor store.
of course it does.
To be honest, I've not got 20 wildly different gins. For example, I've got 4 or 5 that are just different brand variations on a standard, what's called a London dry gin. So something like if you've ever had Gordon's, or for example, Bombay Sapphire is a slightly more expensive variant on a London dry. But I've got a lot of flavoured gins these days because, as well, with the advent of the mixers, it's becoming very much the in-summer drink, and you're getting a lot of the sort of hand-sized fishbowl glasses, large scoop of ice, double measure of gin, flavoured tonic, and I've got rhubarb gin, Parma violet gin, Bakewell tart gin, lemon gin, orange gin.
See, that's what they're doing with vodka here for years, and recently, past 6-7 years, rums. You have more comments for this conversation there, Kev.
Oh, I'm trying to keep up with you. I keep flicking back to Discord because it's easier to watch you.
I can read the comments for you. You gotta, when I wave at the camera.
Bombay Sapphire and a martini was this. Yeah, but it's a nice dry London gin, and dry gins make better martinis. So Gordon's is your sort of quintessentially British brand. It's the go-to gin. If a pub over here only stock one gin, it'll be either Bombay Sapphire or Gordon's 9 times 10.
That's the one that's got the little guy in red on it, yeah?
Which one?
The Gordon's.
Gordon's is no. I don't know. No, that's you're thinking of the Beefeater, the Tower of London Guard with the red tabard and the black. That's Beefeater.
Gordon's has the Queen Victoria on it.
No, not anymore. Gordon's now is just a straight green bottle with a silver label with the word Gordon's in italicized scripting in green.
I was surprised. I've gotten to like gin and tonics now. And especially, I visited my friend's cabin at the lake, and it was a very hot day. And they were putting them in large glasses with some lemon in there, a lemon or lime, whatever you preferred, but mostly gin and tonic water. And it was delicious on a hot day and very dangerous. I had one, and then I stuck with beer.
I'm not really a fan. More so of the tonic water than the gin, because I don't like the quinine. I don't like that bitter. I don't like bitter. Across the board, I just do not like things that are bitter.
No, see,
in any shape, way, or form. So
the Fever Tree range that I was on about, and I presume if you can't get those, there'll be some American equivalent, because it's a big thing. The mix of it's coming up to almost rival alcoholic drinks. Pretty much all tonic water has quinine in it, obviously, because that's what's in tonic water, and it's where Fever Tree, the company, get its name from. The quinine in the where they produce the quinine that goes into their water in a village. The tree that produces the quinine is known locally as the Fever Tree. This is where they go to get the quinine from medicinal purposes. But the great thing about the fact that they've got this whole range is that the other stuff that they put into the tonics means you don't get just that quinine type. There's other flavors in there, which mean you might find now that it's much more palatable. If you can get it, you can go for the either one, because they've got herbal infusions and other stuff.
Well, if
Which
I
one?
ever come
Say that
visit
again?
you, we'll just have to
If you ever come and visit, you will be staggering by the time. I will work your way through 20 gins with the perfect accompaniment of fruit and tonic to go with each one.
Just for our viewers and listeners, the Fever Tree tonic water can be found at Target.com.
I put the link to their website in the chat.
Great minds think alike.
Because I probably couldn't find it here in the county that I live in, but if I go up to the Total Wine, I'm sure I can find it there because they have everything, pretty much. Or the Total Wine in Virginia, because you can actually ship to that one, because you can't ship booze into Maryland.
In the land of the free.
Yeah. It's very interesting what alcohol Maryland will ship into the state. Yeah, even between stores. So Total Wine is a big nation brand, and you can't have things from another store shipped to the Maryland store, depending on what alcohol it is. It's really dumb. But then in my county, you have to go to a specific, essentially an ABC store that is just sells hard liquor. But the rest of the counties, the county that I grew up in, they don't care. Liquor stores are open till midnight on Sundays, whereas, the county I'm in now...
Only midnight?
Well,
You
yes.
don't need to come to the UK. Tests go 24 hours.
Oh.
You do know Britain has 24-hour licensing.
Beautiful.
It's one of the few things our government ever got right. It's also one of the greatest weapons they ever used to keep us docile. Oh, they're kicking up a bit. They're starting to get educated. Quick, give them beer all day.
Well, that's
Keep 'em
the
drinking.
thing. There's a thing about selling beer in supermarkets. You can't do that in Maryland. There are there's one grocery store in every county that has been grandfathered in when they were doing that is still allowed to sell beer and wine in the grocery stores. Otherwise, you will not find beer and wine in a grocery store or a gas station.
Okay.
So when I went into Virginia the first time as an adult and went into the gas station and was trying to find a soda and there was 8 coolers full of beer, I was how are they selling beer in a gas station? Because you can't do that in Maryland.
I appreciate that. Growing up in Europe, and then I lived in California for a while, and you could get everything at the grocery store, liquor and beer, and
Can't do that.
it was no, you can't do that here.
You can in Florida, but it's 40 proof alcohol that's sold in grocery stores. If you want 80 proof, you have to go to a liquor store. Now, the liquor store is quite often directly attached to the grocery store. But it is specifically you'll have your grocery store and you'll have your beer and your alcohol, and then you walk out and walk into a different door for the liquor store.
You'll be glad to know, just because you mentioned the whole across state lines thing, and it made me curious about something I've been researching for the Reptile Club recently. You'll be glad to know that Maryland might not let you import booze, but they will let you bring a large snake across state lines, which not all states in the US will currently allow you to do.
All right.
Well, Florida's definitely learned its lesson about allowing large snakes. As the Everglades...
Yeah. It's incredibly unfortunate, and it's ironically one of the things that's directly linked to what I was just discussing, but I won't bore you. I'll be very brief here. There's a thing called the Lacey Act in the US, which is a law that's originally intended to control the shipping of livestock across state lines to prevent the spread of communicable diseases. So it basically allows each state to determine whether they do or do allow certain animals to be transported over their state lines. Animal welfare groups, pressure groups, horrendous cash cow wankers more interested in lining their pockets than any animal have used this act and pushed it to reptile owners in the US. limiting or attempting to, basically what they attempted to do was get a blanket ban. I think it was 8 or 9 species of large snake, which would mean that no one would be legally allowed to ship them between one state and another, into any state or out of any state. So basically, if you are involved in the ripple export business, fuck you, you're out of business. Or you own a big snake yourself, or a private one in your collection, and you want to move to the next state, no problem. Kill your snake or sell it to someone else. You can't take it with you, that kind of thing.
Can we do that with children?
Yeah, you know. Solve the problem. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Allow snakes into your state. Feed them the children.
There you go.
Wait, did you say feed them to children or feed them the children?
No, feed them the children.
Okay. That'd be a hell of a
feed
autocorrect.
children.
Yeah, it's something I've been looking into recently because there's a similar drive towards tightening of legislation in this country. It was successfully challenged in the US, but as a result of it, some states are now like, yeah, cool, we'll go with the ruling of the law, which says you can do it, there's no law against it. And some are like, well, there's no law against it, but it's down to us, so we're not going to let you do it personally. So now it's become the situation where different states are in different levels of do we, don't we, with this whole big snake thing. And they're attempting to do something on a smaller scale in the UK. So it's the thing that's been discussed by club members recently. So doing my thing.
Comments here. Kennedy's pointing out there's a lot of weird rules from different states about alcohol sales. In New Jersey, very few supermarkets have beer, but New York is sold. Beer is sold everywhere. He also says on Long Island you can buy beer at gas station, pharmacy, Kmart. Gary says, blew my mind that I could get a case of beer at the grocery store in Monterey, California. Loved that at 21. Which, by the way, Gary is of similar age to Ed, so this may have been a few years ago. Jules says, in New Orleans, they have drive-through daiquiri stands. And then I am going to try to pronounce this name to this new person. I'm just going to call you X. We're going to go with X. It's good to see you.
Someone's cooking and
How are you?
setting off the fire.
Is that what that was? I thought it was like feedback from a mic. That was weird. Z, thanks for the follow. Here's to you. Appreciate you joining.
Me. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, X, if you can tell me a different way to pronounce it and type it out, I will do that. But, yeah, I can't get it for what you have there.
A friend of mine did Shakespeare summer stock in Texas. And not in the town that she was in, but the next town over, they had a drive-through daiquiri stand. And you're not allowed to have an open container in the car while you're driving around. But apparently a piece of Scotch tape over the straw hole makes it a sealed container. And that's how they get away with having a drive-through daiquiri stand.
Nice.
Wow.
Don't drink and drive, folks.
That's right. When I lived in Illinois, we had drive-through beer stores where you can like buy cases of beer and they just pass it through the window to you.
Yep.
X, to answer your question.
A booze bar. Well, we call it the booze barn because the building is shaped like a big red barn and it's right around the corner.
Let me answer this comment, please. X, no, you cannot call into the show. We used to have the ability to do that, and it was never used, so we quit doing that a couple years ago, 3-4 years ago. But it's something we have considered bringing back, but at this point in time, it's not going to happen. So, booze barn that was shaped like a keg, is that what you said?
Well, no, it was just a building that's shaped like a giant barn.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's open till 3 a.m. and it's drive-through. So pull up and go. I want 2 handles of this and a case of that, and out the window. There's your card, and done.
What were you saying, Kev?
I'm reminiscing. I'd like to do a shout out to the late '90s here. I'd like to takeaway called Mr. T's. The driver who delivered to Mr. T's was always known locally as a fucking ledge. you would ring Mr. T's. These guys were open. I mean, officially, their advertisement said they were open until 2:30 in the morning. Those guys would cook till 4. If you knew that they were there, you could ring up any time of the night at like 3:45 and order horrendous greasy takeaway food. Better than that, you could also order anything else you wanted, cigarettes, booze, you name it. And the delivery driver for Mr. T's would go to Tesco 24-hour on his way to your house, pay the shit you wanted, and you paid for it at your door.
Pick you up a hooker.
So Terry will never be watching this, but Terry from Mr. T's, you were a fucking legend, mate.
See, and now they have services for this.
On the Isle of Wight owe you so much. A round of applause to that, man.
Absolutely. And now they have services just formed around this. Jules says they had them in North Carolina. Brew-through, drive-through beer stores.
Brew-through? Is that why you just drive really fucking slowly while you wait for it to ferment alongside?
Grandma's been gone 3 months. She should be back with the beer any time now.
Brew-through, isn't that what beer does naturally?
A little
My
bit.
brother so aptly says, you don't buy beer, you just rent it.
One of the weird things about South Carolina and alcohol is that the stores can't advertise in their name that they are a liquor store, they sell beer and wine. So what they do to get around this is make 3 red dots the name of their, like, storefront. Essentially, it's just a series of dots.
Is it
Red
Braille?
dots, and then you, like, go in and find out that you're in, like, Joe Schmo's, like, corner liquor or, like, whatever. It prints out on your receipt, but they can't actually say, like, Joe's liquor store on the front of their building. So they get around that law by having, 3 red dots. And everywhere you go, you'll, like, pull into a strip mall, and there'll be just a store that just has 3 red dots for the name, and you're like, what the hell is that? And you're like, oh, it's the liquor store.
You'd think... I feel it's a stupid law. I feel like, we should just put liquor store, let people know what's there, because it's not going to stop anybody from purchasing by not having it in the store name.
I'd be really annoyed as well. I'm out for a shopping trip. I want to buy myself 3 red dots. God damn it, there's no booze in here.
Yeah, I'm sure that would very much upset you. I'm in a store full of booze. God damn it. Why must I suffer?
Not again.
And, like, I think the county that my parents were in was a dry county, so there was no alcohol on Sundays, and on Saturdays and Fridays, the liquor stores had to close by sundown.
Oh my God.
Not like a specific time, but like by sundown. So like their hours changed by when like sundown was.
Was your county ruled by Puritans?
Apparently it was.
Pennsylvania is worse than that. Yes, Kev?
That was not to highlight my thoroughly questionable musical tastes, but you said my parents lived in a dry county and so there was no alcohol, but there was a big Richie Sambora guitar solo.
BEERUN. Yeah, beer run, baby. Whereas in Germany, if you have money and you can reach the bar.
My son will be going to Germany in a few weeks. And so we discussed him.
Turns away, but his way past.
I shall do that. It's but we did discuss him drinking or not drinking.
The beer's a lot stronger. Be careful.
Yeah, he made sure he told me that. It's
He told you that?
Yeah.
He will discover.
He's like, oh, it's stronger.
It's strong at all.
And
Wow,
it's
it tastes really good.
and it's in pints instead of 12 ounces. I'm like, you could pour as much as you want, really. It's, you don't have to pour a pint out. And yeah. Here, I'm going to send you my view right now. I'll just pop this over here. There you guys go. Enjoy that.
There's a German tap house near the theater that we tend to go through, and everyone always gives me shit when I go in and like order the liter, because they will, like, their sizes. It's like, you know, the 16 ounce, and then you got a pint, and then you got a liter. And everyone's like, why are you fucking drinking a liter? It's like, well, because I'm going to just drink the 1 liter
Right.
the whole time I'm here.
Instead of 3 beers. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Because what you're paying for your 3 pints is more than my, like, 1 liter. And I'm set.
And if I may, Chris, why the fuck is it in their business what you're drinking? You know, I hate that when people comment on what you're drinking. You know, I agree. I really like to drink beer in a liter. I like the idea, especially German beer where there's no preservatives. It's just such fun to have an enormous amount of beer, like that size, and you kind of get a workout drinking it. It's just a whole different experience.
You know what this reminds me of?
It's good. Some beer is made to be drank in large quantities. Not everything is a super strong beer. You know, some are just better, bigger, bolder. Yeah, sorry.
So my British brain went, okay, immediately started recalculating. I'm like, okay, they're talking about 2.2 pints in a litre. British pints, assuming you measure that. And then the next thing my brain thought was 2.2 pints. You might as well have 3.
Well, I have 2 liters.
What's the point of having 0.2 of a pint? Get the third one in. In fact, it's you all round.
I missed that in New York. There are quite a few German houses, and you could get either a liter or a 2 liter even at a time. And it's just, I wouldn't do it every night, but every once in a while I'd go, and it is fun. And I'd be like, I like going home like nice. The next day, why is my arm sore? Oh, I was drinking beer. One at each hand. Beer. Beer is lovely. I haven't had a beer in 2 weeks.
Beer, oh yes, beer.
That's what I was about to talk about, Gary. Gary asked how much beer is in a yard. I remember in Florida when I was 19. I guess maybe I was drinking age.
3.5 feet.
3.5 feet? 3 feet.
3 feet. 3 feet, yeah.
It's so anyhow, I would go to wing places. This is back before every place had wings. And this is back when wings were good. You'd have good, thick, fat, meaty wings, and they had reasonable sauces where you only had, like, the ones with tons of choices had 7 flavors, not 30 sauces. And man, I used to love those wings. I was quite the wing connoisseur. People would call me up on the phone going, "We want wings, where should we go?" It's but I remember drinking yards of beer. And then they came out with the half yard.
So, a yard is 2.5 imperial pints of 1.4 litres.
We would order a yard of beer and, you know, because we were young, 20 wings each or whatever. Spend $5 to $7.
Did it come in a yard glass?
It did. So you had like a bulb at the bottom.
You're supposed to drink that in one breath, you know.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
No. Maybe you are.
Yeah.
I am not.
No, that's... no. I totally...
Yeah, I'm not supposed to drink 12 ounces of beer in one breath.
No. I've never felt the need to drink as fast as humanly possible. I did drink a shotgun. I shotgunned it.
There's a video online somewhere of a lap of Liverpool over down a pint 2 seconds.
Oh.
I've seen people do that.
Just,
Yeah. It's good for you. I'm sure you give a great blowjob, too, with the way you open your throat. Not you in particular.
Have you seen them do it with the water bottle, where they just suck it right out?
There's nothing great, Travis. There's nothing great about a blowjob from a girl who can do that. Jesus Christ, you'd be folding it double trying to touch the side.
True. Kennedy says one good thing about Buffalo, New York in college was the wings. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But that was back in college. You know, that was, for you, dude, that was 1937. You know. It's, 10 cents. That was expensive wings. That was the good wings. Now, I remember 10-cent wings, and nowadays, if you find 50-cent wings, I'm like, what the fuck? This is so overpriced. And that's the bargain deal. 38, my bad, Kennedy. Sorry, man. It's,
That is an advantage to living in a college town, is you can get great deals on bar food, you know. And that is kind of fun.
if you could find a place that has decent bar food, as opposed to, look, we pulled them out of the freezer and threw a bottle on top. You know, it's... Well, the restaurants I'm talking about, they were just wings. It was back when you had the roll of paper towels and the different squeeze bottles on the table, and everybody had curly fries. All the wing places had curly fries. And, you'd go in and you would watch them in the back mixing up their hot sauces, by cutting it with butter and stuff, and it was the good old days. I just love wings, and it's hard to find good wings nowadays. When Domino's is the best fucking wings in town, shit is wrong.
Look at yourself.
Yeah. Sounds like we got something to do next time I come down.
Travis, you have pat fryer?
Yeah.
Cool. I'll send you a recipe.
Okay.
Mate, seriously, honestly, it's the simplest thing in the world. It's literally just a few dried ingredients, your flour, and the trick is just, can you get buttermilk?
Yeah.
Right, buttermilk is the key. If anyone's watching, if you want tender as fuck wings, get some buttermilk, completely submerge the wings 24 hours in the fridge. Keep them chilled in buttermilk for 24 hours first. Just make up a standard flour rub. Promise I'll send you the recipe that I've got written down, the one I use for mine at home. It literally just straight out of the buttermilk, straight into the flour and spices mixed, and then straight into the fryer.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. It's I do make my own, and my ex-wife, who is from Buffalo, New York, where buffalo wings originated, said the recipe that I made for our wings or our chicken strips when we, got tired of having bones that we had to eat around. She's like, this is better than anywhere else, better than the stuff in Buffalo. So, but I would love to hear yours. And by the way, Skipper there says Hooters back in the day. Hooters back in the day were crap wings because they fucking breaded them. And now you can at least order them naked, but you don't want a buffalo wing that's breaded. It makes it soggy and nasty.
You can order buffalo wings when you're naked? Where is this restaurant?
Hooters, apparently, which seems enormously...
No, Hooters. You gotta hang out in Hooters. I gotta hang out in Hooters more. There are so many men in Hooters.
That's very true.
A few more pounds, I can hang.
It's
I think I'm outaged Hooters. I
think everybody has. It's
I'm like the one waitress they don't want. No, send it to Dolores.
I, on the other hand, am one push-up bra and a set of roller skates away from starting.
No. Prove it. Present. No, you can't. Never mind.
Yeah, you can.
Don't just present, represent.
There we go. It's Hooter Wings, when there was actual wing restaurants, and then Hooters came into existence, which came into existence in Florida, by the way. Hooters originated in Florida.
I'm shocked. So
I want to say it was Tampa that it originated in. I think it's they
I would love to try the hot wings recipe. If I come up sometime, that would be fun. We'll make a video.
we do all kinds of things. It's Hooters has gotten better with their wings. That's all I can say. It's and again, it's sad when you go into a town and Hooters is the best fucking wings around. Nobody makes good wings anymore. I hate them.
Okay.
Okay, so Kennedy says, and this looks like it's directed to you, Elizabeth. Want to meet guys? Stop by a dojo on Valentine's Day. Only guys who showed up last week were those without gals. But be careful, they can smell desperation. I'm imagining
They just smell like feet around there.
what would you wear to a dojo on Valentine's Day to pick up guys? Anything really, I think, would work. Burlap.
If you want to know how to pick up guys,
I do.
do not ask me. I don't know nothing about picking up guys.
From behind, you gotta make sure you lock wrists, and then you just lift.
Elizabeth, the answer has been staring you in the face all along. In fact, you've even said it yourself tonight. Show him the tits, punch him in the face. This is the moment of
Flag him,
revelation.
put him in the trunk.
One is the meant to sit down, not the fuck around.
There you go.
That's all on your rules.
When he wakes up, have a beer in his hand, taped to his hands. He has to drink them both.
And tell him if he's good, you'll get the bottle opener.
You know those both hands tied into those video mitts that you horrendous comic gloves with a can inserted into the top so you can't untie himself. All you can do is drink.
Kennedy says,
Over the head.
I think a flat tire right outside would do it. I'm just imagining Elizabeth pulling up with 4 good tires, getting out and letting the air out of a tire. Are they watching yet?
That's ridiculous.
And by the way,
I've never done that. I've never taped like 40-ounce beers to my hands, and I've never done that.
Oh, Edward 40 years?
We may have just discovered your purpose.
And we'll film it.
Oh, yeah,
I
we
have to
will.
do it without pants, because at some point I'm going to have to go to the bathroom.
Probably halfway through the first 40.
We could see a crossover here. Pickle Can Productions.
Canful production.
Canful, amazing.
Oh, that's good.
Bill Clinton will be up here.
Oh, I'm too old for Clinton. He likes me.
Is it The Simpsons? It's an episode of where they bump into Clinton. He's judging a Miss Fat Cankle competition or something.
Yeah, I do believe that is a Simpsons episode. Or no, maybe
it's on the system. If it's on the system, it's gotta be true.
It is. One of the, it sounds more Family Guy than doesn't it? Yeah. I don't know. Why are you asking me? It's 10 to 4.
Speaking of
I'm amazed I'm conscious that I'm making sense.
I recently watched a video, Travis, on the proper way to eat hot wings.
Yes, and?
I didn't realize
you can beat quantities.
You're supposed to twist them so it breaks the cartilage between the 2 bones. Remove the first bone, and then you can slide the second bone.
That's correct.
Right off the second.
Yeah, I've been in wing eating contests back in the day, and yeah, it's
How
just.
many do you eat? How tell? Share.
Oh, I don't remember. Shit, I don't even remember what state I lived in. It was either Florida or Illinois at the time. I think it was Illinois.
More than 50.
I don't remember. I mean, I was 21 or 22 years old. I lucky I remember I had that age. It's
So I would never engage in a speed eating competition, but could I eat 50 with luck? Yeah, no.
I couldn't now. I could then, but that's when when I was young and thin and could walk into a buffet and hit 5 heaping plates.
I'm still young and thin.
Yeah, well, you're not.
I can eat 5 heaping plates.
There you go. Kennedy tells you how to
I won't sleep.
Yeah, really can't be in the bathroom the rest of the day. Kennedy says, twist it, pull it, put it in your mouth, and suck. And that's pretty much exactly how you do it. That's for the double-boned wingette.
If you do that, he'll buy you wings.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But with the drumettes, all you have to do is put them in your mouth and pull, and it's best if you hold. Yes?
That's how you're going to die. You got to twist it, pull it.
Put it in your mouth and suck.
Moment of revelation.
Oh, no, it's okay. And by the way, he hasn't said it out loud, but I think if you want the address of his dojo in New York, he'll give it to you. and tell you what days he's there. So he could bring his jack if you let him know ahead of time, if you know what I mean.
Sadly, I do know how to change a time.
I wasn't talking about changing a tire.
Jacket, wallet.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, I can change a tire, but am I still going to call AAA and make that guy come out and do it? Absolutely.
It's not so bad till you have the crop top and cut off shorts and you're leaning against a hood while he does it.
Well, I mean, that's always what I'm wearing on Friday nights.
That's right. And the cowboy boots to go with it.
You're
That's my wing. That's my wing eating.
It's actually just a bib with a string that ties around the back. It's just a checkerboard pattern bib.
The tie in your t-shirt at the front is so you can pack things in the bones in your shirt.
Right. Yeah, I like a little bone in my shirt.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Obviously not you. You keep taking your shirt off every time you see the bone.
Show them the wings.
We've made Elizabeth get on the floor. You guys know that story about the one guest we had that may or may not have been slurping stuff off the floor because he didn't know how to mute after spilling his drink. And you heard interesting... Hold on, there's a cat fucking with something they shouldn't.
I don't know if Oh, okay. He's so happy.
It's a good little fun tonight, Dan. You're a happy boy now.
Okay.
Is the weather still atrocious up there?
It's frightening.
It's not too bad tonight. It's been hit and miss. The last couple of days have been quite mild. A bit colder tonight. It's been out all night though. It's sort of 2.5 odd hours of the show. Only came in about 20, 25 minutes.
Hopefully we get the snow on Wednesday. That's what I'm looking for.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh. It's gonna snow there?
I want to boop that snoot. I want to boop that snoot so bad.
Ah, it's another snoot.
Stream closer.
Okay. Kevin, see, Kennedy asked, how do you prep and enjoy the breasts? And then he asked buttermilk. So we'll go serious with this one. Kennedy, there's a couple ways to do this. I'll let Kevin give you his stuff, but if you want to make chicken at home, or chicken strips, or chicken breasts that taste like KFC chicken, soak them even in regular milk for at least an hour. Overnight is better. And then you use whatever seasoning mix you do with flour with the seasoning, pepper and blah, blah, blah. But soaking it in milk makes it much more tender and juicy, etc. So it's a great basic thing to do even if you don't have a recipe that improves the flavor of your chicken.
Or natural yogurt.
There you go.
There's a British chef called Heston Blumenthal who's called a mad scientist of cooking, and he loves to experiment in science labs with what you can do. He's made soups with liquid nitrogen, all kinds of mad shit. And he actually did a scientific experiment where they marinated a chicken breast, ironically, in different marinades, things like milk, natural yogurt, a tomato sauce, a couple of other bits, soy sauce, like an oriental marinade. And then they soaked them for 12 hours and then took them to the local university and had them put through an MRI scanner to see how deep the marinade had penetrated into the meat, and the winner by a country mile was natural yogurt. So if you take natural yogurt, and if you want a lemon, mix lemon juice into your natural yogurt, mix herbs into a whatever, and use natural yogurt as the marinade base. Apparently it's the best for penetrating into the meat. The
lemon juice wouldn't curdle the yogurt?
To be honest with you, though, when you read out the question, how do I prep the breasts, the answer that immediately leapt to my head was baby oil.
What is natural yogurt?
So unflavoured, unsweetened, just plain yogurt. Or natural yogurt in the UK, but plain yogurt, no flavouring, no extra sugar.
How How much would you
At
recommend?
least 12 hours. At least 12 hours.
The 24 is okay. I
Yes.
did overnight.
Yeah, 24 would be perfect, to be honest. The longer you can leave it, the better, because the better the chance the marinade is going to penetrate beyond the surface of the meat, so it's going to carry more of the flavors that are in the marinade into the actual tissue of the meat itself.
Elizabeth, you know how to make your own yogurt, right?
I never have.
Take a tablespoon of cultured yogurt, not non-cultured yogurt. A tablespoon, put it in a container of milk, close it up, put it in the fridge. You're done. Wait 3-4 days. It's somewhere between 4 and 7 days. Kevin, correct me. It's been a while since I had a friend from the Middle East who would do this.
I'll be honest with you, I've never made
Yeah.
ridiculously cheap.
Basically, you just got to make sure you have a yogurt that still has the bacteria culture in it, and it will produce it will breed and make milk into yogurt. So it's that easy. And yeah, they would buy one container of yogurt and save the empty containers, just pour milk in, put a spoonful in, and this is how Grandma made more yogurt in the house. And then, of course, they'd eat it with most everything. Mm-hmm.
I never have, but I do enjoy cooking, and I've marinated chicken and all sorts. I just never did it in yogurt.
Neither did I.
Well, it's good.
It works really well.
Yeah. Let's see how it turns out.
It's good for pork as well. So if you're talking about like something like a chop or something,
Right.
a thin cut of pork, it's not so good.
Not a
on
roast,
big,
yeah.
like a roast joint or something. But yeah, or if you're doing like pork strips to go into a stir fry or something, anything where it's smaller cuts to meat, so the marinade's got a good chance to penetrate all the way through. Brilliant for that as well.
What's fun about the living situation I'm in now, with my brother and I.
Tell us what's fun.
She is actually enjoying kind of the exploration I like to do with cooking. And she recently, when she made chicken, she used 2 different marinades to see which one's better. So I'm thinking of doing that with this yogurt. You do one with yogurt or one with milk and see which one is better.
I'd be really intrigued to know if you see it, if you can tell a discernible difference.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Maybe, oh, sorry.
No, I'm going to interrupt with the closing stuff. So you want to finish your thought?
No.
Okay. And we'll... Yes, Kevin?
I was just going to say, well, the other thing as well is don't just use for marinades in terms of flavoring meat. If you want just a really nice tender bit of chicken, but you're going to fry it really hard, like in a quick stir fry or something, but you don't want it to dry up too much, marinate it in natural yogurt, and it retains a lot of natural moisture to it.
Right.
I think that
I
changes...
would do it without seasoning, just the yogurt and see what happens.
I think that's... It changes the flavor totally when it stays moist through the hike. Anyhow, let's do a closing toast, and then I'll do some other stuff here real quick. So, just... Here's to friends who help you enjoy life, which really I think is the meaning of life. Enjoying.
I'll drink to that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Now, I do want to thank everybody who resubscribed tonight. Thank you very much for that. Don't forget, you can subscribe at no cost to you using Amazon Prime. You can throw bits anytime you want by watching ads for free, or you could pay for them. You can tip down below the screen there, share the stream, let your friends come in and hang out, etc. We appreciate all the support, but the most important support that you guys can give is showing up. Do keep in mind we stream most days a week, many hours a day, so come out. No more WoW. Gary, my WoW subscription is done, so until I put another thing in, but frankly, that was gifted by a viewer, and there's a reason I didn't have WoW for 7 years. It's because that $15 was more important to go somewhere else. Well, thank you, Elizabeth. And yes, Kennedy, we got your breasts, and there's some more bits. Why is there no noise, though?
I don't know.
Why is the noise not coming up?
I may buy Travis some WoW time shortly because I missed. It was a rough week not having him around all week, and I want to fuel my need to keep playing.
It's my general plan with the channel, and we're about to log off here. My general plan with the channel is in the morning, wake up, get some coffee in me, read the book, and start to produce the audiobook. So I've got to create basically a buffer here. I will not be replying to comments during the reading of the audiobook because I will be recording it to put it on Audible so I can sell the audiobooks. Any equipment, I made a wish list for this, and any equipment I get for this will be used for multiple audiobooks. Now after that, basically doing eBay stuff or whatever during the day, maybe some news and topics, and then in the evening, by the time Chris comes on, heading for World of Warcraft, because I think World of Warcraft is better in the evening for hanging out and chatting, whereas during the day, she looks like one of those infrared scopes or those night scopes. Like we just caught Bigfoot on film here. It's there she. Anyhow, let's do some closing music, guys. Make sure you hang out during the week. Check back with us, Elizabeth. You look.
To watch on Thursday with our new D&D campaign.
Thursday with the D&D game, absolutely. And Elizabeth, you look like Bigfoot caught on a night scope when you're in the distance there. It's closing music, guys.
Thanks for you have one thing that makes the show what it is. Don't forget to join us at the Tavern next week. Until then, have fun, keep flirting, and be good to one another. Now, raise your glass in good cheer. Enjoy the small moments every day. Big dreams every